we doing?
AKA Scorzy.
Yeah. It's weird to hear Kory.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how it is when I hear Brian and I don't register it.
Who's Brian? Where is he?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Only my mom and
Yeah,
wife
exactly.
call me it.
Yeah,
You know how
that's
it is.
exactly it.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Dude, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
We
it.
got some stories to tell.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and give me a little intro about yourself. We're going to dive right into
All right.
your fascinating life.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that fascinating, but yeah, I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean,
What is that like?
minus 60 in the winter sometimes, regular minus 20, minus 30.
Without
Cold.
wind chill? Or
Yeah,
with
no, that's without wind chill. And then you get that wind chill, and that's when it pushes down to 40. I mean, when I was a kid, so I started playing organized hockey at like 3.
You have to up there.
Yeah, it's 10 months out of the year, it's frozen, so like not that bad, but
It's fucking miserable.
I had an older brother that was playing, so it's like, throw the younger brother out on the ice because he's there anyway. And it was the community club I grew up with was all outdoors. Like we had 3 outdoor rinks, so everything's outdoors. So I mean,
It's like tough kids.
Vaseline on the face for the wind chill,
Yep.
to keep it off. And I didn't wear actual hockey gloves till I started playing, like, 9, 10 years old because like your hands would freeze. So, so I started growing up on the outdoor rinks and typical what you think Canada pond hockey kind of thing and. Street hockey, floor hockey, ball hockey. I mean, the teacher turned around in class and we had a crumbled piece of paper on our knees playing hockey. Like it was just a culture, obviously. And
Tell me floor hockey wasn't the greatest pastime sport.
it was unbelievable. Dude.
Putting them in the oven and warming them up.
Dude, taking your stick and curving it over the oven too, with the coils on the oven and getting
Yes.
that nasty curve on
Just
it.
flick it.
Dude, it's unbelievable. And even in junior high, every Friday the students could put teams in to play the teachers. So
Really?
yeah. And I had a group of friends that grew up with where we were all diehard. Our part of the city. From Transcona, so like we did every sport together. We did,
Yeah.
whatever we played, we were all on the same team always. So, hockey was our number one sport. So we got good, and we started beating the teachers, and those games start getting a little rough every once in a while because teachers
for
don't want to lose. All the students are watching and
Just
teachers,
talking
yeah,
shit.
oh yeah, dude, they're bumping and rubbing, and we're winning, and it was pretty cool. So it was, that's a culture, right? It's floor hockey, ball hockey.
Very much. So here's something that I've asked so many people and nobody ever knows was broom hockey on the ice.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever play broom hockey?
Yeah, we did broom ball once in a while, but it was
It was a big
just like,
fundraiser, more of like the fire department, the cops. But I mean, that was like in the winter, the broom hockey tournaments. I mean,
yeah.
that was life.
Yeah, and they had it out there a little bit, but it was just like, for me, it was just like, I want to stick in a puck.
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah.
am I hitting this thing around for? When, But it's always fun. The big thing that we have back in Winnipeg that, even though a lot of places have hockey, they don't have what we call spongy. So it's sponge hockey. So what it is you play on a sheet of ice, but you're running, and you use like a hard rubber sponge puck. So you don't need full gear. And that's one of the things that we did the most was we would go play spongy. So there's leagues back home in Winnipeg with 300 teams, 10 divisions. Like
What?
It's wild. Yeah, I play indoor, outdoor. Yeah, so especially the adult leagues. It's like especially outside. Just take a case of beer, sit it on the bench. It's already cold because it's freezing outside.
Yeah.
So you run on the ice and you wear broom ball shoes. They're little because they got the little circles on the bottom and it sticks to the ice. And you can cheat by a little hairspray on there, a little stickier. But yeah, like my brother still plays to this day, and yeah,
shit.
So.
What the hell do you do in Winnipeg? Like
That.
besides hockey?
Yeah, get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Like, dude, I'm telling you.
The city mascot? Or
Yeah, as kids, it was. Literally, it was. Hockey all winter long, and then obviously we played street hockey in the summer, but it was kind of put the hockey bag away. This was before it is now, where hockey's like 12 months out of the year. We played lacrosse, played football, we all played baseball together, and as you get older through, you start picking the sports that you're a little bit better at and a little more competitive at, and then you go through it that way. But a lot of camping. We spent a lot of time. Winnipeg's only 45 minutes from the North Dakota Minnesota border, so we spent a lot of time camping in the States or around Lake of the Woods in Ontario and stuff like that. So a lot of outdoor stuff, but like we've talked about hunting a lot and stuff like that too. I didn't get to do that until I retired from playing hockey, just because that's hockey season. So everything came first. I remember a couple of years we were playing roller hockey at 14, 15 years old, and we won the national championship. We lost our first year and won it our second year, and the Worlds were in Las Vegas, but that was during tryouts for hockey season. So we're not going.
Yeah.
Just threw that to the side.
It's crazy to me to think that I would compare baseball to the dedication of hockey parents.
Oh, yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's especially, I mean, it's wild right now too to see, like, especially in the States, just, and there's pockets where it's very accessible, and then there's pockets where it's not. Like being here in Idaho, like we're kind of on an island, so there's a lot of travel that's involved.
sure.
If you want to go play games, you get to a competitive level, there's a lot of travel involved.
Everything. There's nothing shit here.
Yeah, so if you're very competitive and you got two kids that are a couple different age groups, mom's going one place one weekend and dad's on the other side of the country that weekend, and that's where that stigma of like hockey being really expensive kind of comes from. Because when I grew up, I mean, we had 20 teams in the city that were in our league at all the divisions. So you
never left.
No, we never left. We would go to like 2 tournaments a year, and it would be like Roseau or War Road in Grand Forks, North Dakota, or that's pretty much it. And then there'd be local tournaments. I mean, I remember one year we were in 2 tournaments at the same time because whoever was in charge of that messed up and signed us up for 2. So we get off the ice, jump in the car, drive across the city, play another game. Like, yeah, we got all the ice we ever wanted. And that was the other part is like the access to the ice isn't, with only having 2 sheets here and we're growing at a crazy pace. So, yeah, it's just a different vibe. It could be affordable.
Times too, you know?
Yeah, different times, yeah.
Is it sad looking back? Because it sounds like you grew up very similar, you know, because I grew up right on the Canadian border.
Yeah.
5-minute boat ride, you're in Canada. And I look back at it now and it's like the kids, like the pickup hockey, street hockey. I mean, you don't see any of that anymore.
No, you don't. Even I was back home for the first time this year in like 5 years. Went back home this summer with my kid and my wife and the dogs, and didn't see one. You didn't have. I mean, when I was
one
a kid,
net out on the road.
Nothing. And like as a kid, you couldn't go down the street without car having to move your net,
or you'd see a car pull in and then back out.
And go the other way.
The other way because they just knew.
Yeah, you don't want to disturb the game, or am I going to get hit with a frozen tennis ball? So that was a big part of it, and you don't see that anymore. And I don't, I attribute a lot to that. Maybe like video games, and kids staying inside, and just a different time, but. I mean, we loved being outside. It was, like the minute we got home from school, it was everybody on the phone knocking each other's doors with their hockey sticks and, who's got the net, who's got the pads. And I mean, we went as far as keeping stats and leagues, and it was wild when we were a little bit, younger. And it was it's just what you did, it was, street lights come on. Literally, it was the old street lights are on. Okay. Can't really see the ball anymore. Time to start going home, but yeah, it was one of those things where it was just happened. It wasn't like, hey, we have to do this because this is what we want to do. And I think development-wise, with hockey is we were getting so many touches doing things on our own for fun.
Oh, yeah.
That it really helps a player develop than it is when you have to go to a rink and everything's scheduled on the ice. And, it's just a different vibe, It
really is. It was real.
It's genuine and real.
Now everything's structured. You have a plan. These kids are on fucking diets and workout programs from the start. Yeah, and it's it's serious. It's not... I'm sure it's fun for these kids, but it's not. It's not a way of life. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but like for you growing up, and we played a little hockey, but like all my buddies, they're all that was their sport. Football was my thing, but like even in the off season, we were playing with them because that's just what you did.
Yeah, you played multiple sports. It's very early specialization now, which is really, it's making. I mean. There is a burnout factor that comes with that, obviously, because 100%. it's more of a profession now than it was for
fun. It's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. So it does hurt, and we see that at the older age groups when early specialization really starts hurting kids. And you go back to even like Wayne Gretzky, like his hockey bag went in the attic once the season was over, and his lacrosse bag came out. And look how great he was. So. But when everybody's doing it, I understand as a parent, it's hard to not do it and fall because you feel like you're falling behind.
Yep.
If you go to the Kobe Bryant thing, 10,000 hours and he gets up and is doing it, that's a certain drive that only a certain amount of people have, and that's why there's only a certain amount of people that are that great out there. So
yeah.
I think it's tough. I think it'd be a tough decision as a parent too to focus on not doing that when you feel like your child's going to fall behind. So now everybody just does it.
So it's a pressure.
I feel like that. I mean, I'm even, my kid's 4 now, and he's starting to get into my learn to play program at the rink. And, I worry about that, like having that balance for him. But there is some kids that like you see at the rink that love it. They're at the rink all day long. They have the biggest smile on their face, no matter how much they're there, no matter how many camps or clinics they put in, they love it. And those are the kids that I think, aren't going to burn out because it's a love for the game.
Yeah.
It was just different growing up.
It's not chasing dad's dreams.
Yeah, right. And I think it's just different now from growing up where we got so many different aspects of playing hockey that it just didn't have to be at the rink, you know.
And that
with
gets
a coach and a private coach. Yeah, exactly. Because the same drive, the same, you know, same practice, the same, you know.
This is what we're going to work on, this technique for the next few weeks. And but instead of it was just like surviving on the ice.
Exactly. I mean, there's times we'd show up to the outdoor rink and, you know, there'd be 30 kids out there just skating. So, like, we're playing 10 on 10. Like, it's not 5 on 5. And that's, you know, great for the game because the game hockey's played in a smaller area, you know, win a battle, make a play kind of thing. So, you know, when you're playing 10 on 10 and it's the old throw the sticks in the middle and pick sticks and there's 15-year-olds out there, I'm 10. So you're playing against all these different skill levels and there's no parent out there managing it. You know, it's just like.
That's another huge problem these days is these parents, bro. We were kind of those parents. Britt was 100% one of those parents. When our kids were fighting, you know, when we were on the road doing all the competitive fighting with them. But it's like, and for me, especially, like, I'm that, like, we're going to do it all the way. But when it comes to the kid on the field and, like, shit happens, I'm like, fuck, figure it out.
Yeah.
I had to look at Barry, like, let them, like, I don't care about the other parents screaming.
Yeah.
I don't care that our kid got kicked in the face. It's a sport we're in. Let them figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
But now it's like every parent has an opinion. You're not right. I mean, I couldn't even imagine being an ump at a T-ball game these days.
I see some wild videos online from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would tell everybody. I'd be like, you're out. Like, I wouldn't even deal with it. It's not even worth it.
No, and that is a issue we're facing right now. I mean, in all sports, I believe, is officials. They don't want to be. They're not getting paid enough to be there, and everybody uses the excuse, well, they're paid. They should. No, they're not there to get abused. You know, and
they're making enough to get a case of beer afterwards.
Exactly. So it's real tough to you know, retain officials because they're getting abused, and it's not only by the players, it's by the parents, but it's by the players too because of just that lack of sportsmanship that's kind of went out of the game a little bit, and it's I don't want to say that when you do what I've seen is when you do so many private lessons, now you're taking a team sport and it's become very individual. Because that player is now, it's about them, it's about the private lesson, which is, I mean, it's been awesome for skill development. The skill developments went through the roof. Hockey players now are more skilled and talented than they have ever been.
Oh, for sure.
But their knowledge of the game isn't really there. And talking with college coaches and stuff, that's kind of where they come from. They're like, we got such unbelievably skilled athletes, but they're hockey dummies because it's been skill development. It hasn't been the knowledge of the game. It hasn't been the tactics and how to play your position. And it's more of like being a phenomenal skater, a phenomenal puck handler, which is great. But when they get a certain level, you got to know the game. You know, so that's the struggle they're having at the older age groups that they're kind of finding as you funnel through this. Yeah, is this like, okay, phenomenal athletes. I mean, you watch some of these guys and what they can do with the puck where as a kid you would get in trouble for trying to pick up the puck and do the Michigan around. Yeah, you literally get in trouble from the
4-year-olds do it on the ice.
It's amazing what they can do.
I watched this little ass kid the other day pick the puck up and he popped it off the back of the goalie's head and it rolled in.
It's wild.
I was like, dude, these kids are on different
levels. Yeah, and you have to, and the way the game has changed, like you have to foster that now because that's a real play in a game now. They're doing the NHL. They're, so it's not like
learning it.
Yeah, and their skill and their hand-eye coordination and all the training that's out there online for videos for kids to do the stuff at home. It's all awesome. Like it's great for the sport. Yeah. It's just the team aspect of it kind of suffers. I think.
I can see that for sure because you have a couple of individuals that have been poured into their whole life, told they're the best, they're the greatest, and then now you almost have, I don't want to say like a narcissist player.
But they've been taught that it's working on themselves, and then you integrate that into a team setting where it's not tennis or an very individual sport where that you got to be able to translate everything you're learning.
Only relying on yourself now. It's like, and then but when they're all this training that's going on, they're only training with themselves.
With themselves, yeah,
or learning everything with themselves, or a small group.
So,
and then when you go to a team.
Yeah, and that's what we try and tell the kids. It's like there's a difference between being the best on the team or being the best for the team. You can be the best on the team, but you better be the best for the team too. Like you got to distribute the puck, you got to share it.
Doesn't do anything for the team.
Exactly, because it's still a team sport in the end, and not one player can just go win a game no matter how good you are. You still have to have everybody around you. Yeah. Well, yeah. So like, growing up in Winnipeg, going through that process of hockey all day long. That's all we ever did. I was provincial doubles badminton champion for like 3 years in a row. Like I did everything, dude.
The fuck does that mean?
Badminton. We call it badminton back home. You guys call it badminton. So badminton. Yeah, dude. Yeah, whatever you guys call it here. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know this sport.
Yeah. We got some different terms for some different things we get into later that I always get made fun of. But like we call them semis, you guys call them semis. You know, like semi. It's a semi truck.
I mean, growing up on the Canadian border, I picked up on a lot. Like one of the hardest things for me to teach other people is a toque.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I didn't know what the fuck a beanie was.
Either did I. I'm like, that sounds funny.
So I joined the Marine Corps, and they're like, get your beanie. And I'm looking at everybody else like,
beanie? Yeah.
What is a beanie? Like, I was so confused. And I'm like, that's a toque. And they're like, and then when the whole platoon's looking at me like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's a toque.
Yeah.
They're like, it's a beanie. And then Britt tried to have this argument with me. I'm like, you're from Southern California. If anybody's going to know what this thing is called from somebody on the Canadian border. Like,
that's
and she's
hilarious.
like, okay, you got a point. But there's so many different terms.
100%.
So many different terms.
Toque is a big one. Yeah.
Toque is huge.
Yeah.
I've never heard it since.
Yeah.
Only back home.
Really? Yeah.
I've never.
Same thing. I'll say it here, and people are like, "You mean your winter hat?" I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, that toque sounds way better." I'm good. A beanie. I don't like putting a beanie on my head.
I'm the same way. I've fought it for years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, I get made fun of my buddies all the time. Like another one is like we call it a Toyota Celica, and you guys call it a Celica. So like they just came out with a new one, so I got the text message from my buddy right away, like, "Oh, there's your new Celica," you know. And then we call them decals. You call them decals. Like there's just a few real, ones that I've had to learn to change my language a little bit so I don't get made fun of,
You have to.
You have to. What are you even talking about? The stickers. Like, oh, you mean a decal?
The
like,
decal.
Yeah. And then I go home and say it that way, and my dad's kind of looking at me like, what are you talking about, man? You've lived in the States too long. Wild. Yeah.
So, growing up in high school is obviously eat, sleep, breathe hockey.
Everything, and it's kind of changed now, but high school hockey wasn't a thing when I grew up. Just when I was starting to,
was it like Bantams and all the other?
Yeah, it was like you played club hockey, so through your community club, right? Yep. There was a community club based, and then there, in my part of the city, there was 4 or 5 community clubs, and they would all have their own teams, and we all play each other, and then you'd play across the city and stuff. And then as you go through the ranks, like, you got different sections of the city. So there's like Transcona, St. Vital, Charleswood, all that, right? They now, when you get to like the AA, they all combine. So Transcona combined all their best kids, and that would be their AA team. And then we're called the Transcona Regents. It's no longer the Oxford Heights Blues. Now we're the Transcona Regents. And then when you get to AAA, they break it down to just 4 teams. And now I think it's down to 2 teams. But so then you would take 3-part. They would draw their lines, kind of like school districts. Here's your 3-part. All you can draw from all these kids for these teams. And then that's when it got competitive up to AAA. So high school hockey, I remember after my first year AAA, they were waiting for everything to be over, and they did like a tournament through the high schools just to see what the interest was. And it started to pick up a little bit. And then there was, I think, my last couple of years of school. I mean, I left my senior year to go live in Saskatchewan to go play junior hockey. So I wasn't there for that. But now kids started making decisions. I go play AA. I mean, AAA was always the way to go. That was the highest level. So if you got asked to play AAA, that's what you're doing. But the guys that were playing AA were now like kind of split half. Do I go play AA? Could I just play with my friends in high school? And so it kind of put a little divide in hockey, I think, a little bit. But now I think the high school has really taken over, and it's a thing now in Winnipeg. Like, I mean, they just started doing high school football. I mean, when I say just started, I mean not in my era, anyways. Like, it was all community club based with different parts of town. Yeah. So like, I found it wild when I moved here. Like, you always see it on TV, like high school sports. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't like that. Like, it was the only high school sports we had was basketball, volleyball, and like badminton and track and field.
Crazy, you guys didn't even have
wrestling,
football.
No football. Like when I played football, it was Transcona Nationals. We were through the local community club, and you register there, and they take care of the coaches, and you play all the community clubs around. Yeah, it was all.
Do you now living here in the States? Do you see that? Do you like that structure better or high school?
It's pretty close to the same, you know. So I do. I think the high school aspect is pretty cool though. Yeah. Just because, like, the school gets behind it, the
pep rallies,
yeah, it's exactly. We never had homecoming,
which I don't even think they do those anymore. But
yeah, so I mean, and I think some schools, rally around some things better than others. But I mean, to have like all the fans there, I mean, that's cool because you're getting all the students involved now because they want to support their school. So you got an atmosphere where back home, like it was, parents grandparents, brothers and sisters, and maybe if somebody had a girlfriend, they'd bring them to the football game. Like, that was it. That's all that was on the sidelines. You didn't have people showing up.
You didn't have the town.
You didn't have the town, and that was what was cool. Even on the hockey scene, like, even at AAA hockey level, like, there's so many things to do, like, in a big city with hockey-wise that, like, Winnipeg, that, like, you're going to NHL games or you're going to watch, not even really junior games. Junior games were all right. But when I moved to Saskatchewan at, like, just before I turned 18, that's where I went. I was kind of getting recruited by Northern Michigan. They were talking to us saying, hey, you need to go to a full-time program. Because I played my first year juniors at, like, 16, turning 17. And we practiced, like, twice a week. And we would have to wait for the adult leaguers to get out of the locker room before we got into our practices. I mean, I'd be coming home at 11 o'clock at night and, like, so they're like, we want you in a full-time program. So you move to small towns. So I moved to, it's called Melfort, Saskatchewan, town of like farming town of like 5,000 people.
Oh, really?
And they had a beautiful rink, 3,000-seat arena. They had a water slide and a wave park in it, scoreboard hanging from the roof, our own locker room, like everything logoed. Like they'd get three.
You're like, I made it.
Yeah, they get like we were like little mini NHL players playing in a small town. Like you go for places, breakfast is paid for. Hey, I got your breakfast, Kory. No problem. Like great game last night. Like everybody knew who you were.
That's cool though. I mean,
it is, and that experience was and get into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. But that was like a huge step in my life. There's certain pivotal moments that I think that have happened to me in my hockey career to take me where I landed.
Yeah.
Do I know if they were right or wrong? But I'm appreciative of whatever they were. And leaving home at my senior year of high school, which we call grade 12, going into grade 12. That I
want to know every single thing. So make sure
they'll come out. I've learned to say it the right way so people know what I'm talking about. But so going into grade 12, I left. I mean, in Manitoba, the drinking age is 18. So I missed a lot of my buddies turning 18, going to the bars. Not that,
You had a different path.
Yeah, different path. And we started also at like 16, 17. You can get into the bars at that age and you got hookups, whatever. But it was, missing out on all the things that all my group of friends were doing together. And, there was no FaceTime. There's no Facebook. There's no Instagram. So it was back. So I come back at Christmas time and I hear all these stories that I missed. And I'm just like, oh, man, like I feel left out, So it's
I could see that.
So it was a big decision to be able to just leave that group of friends, leave everything.
But I mean, you were chasing your dream though at the same time.
100%, yeah. And it wasn't something that, as a little kid, I've always wanted to play college hockey or NHL hockey or whatever it was. And I didn't really know what that entailed until it happened.
Okay.
Like as a little kid, you don't think about, you're like, I want to play in NHL. Well, you don't think like, okay, at
all the sacrifices.
15, I'm going to have to do this. And at 17, I'm going to have to do this. And at 18, I'm going to have to leave my group of friends and move away and miss out on stuff that you think that you're always going to be there for.
Would you do it all again?
100%.
Okay,
I mean, best decisions I ever made in my life. And I will say the group of friends I had were awesome because it didn't make me feel awkward when I came home. Like they're still my boys to this day.
That's cool.
We live everywhere and we're, on group chats and stuff all the time. And every time you see them, it's like you haven't missed them, It's like, so I got to give them kudos because it's not like I was some outsider coming back in, but that's what you think when you're not part of it,
Oh, for sure. And that's just human nature too.
Yeah.
The FOMO aspect.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. It's so-and-so
did what? That was kind of like me joining the Marine Corps early. I'd come home on these and hear all the stories. I'm like,
yeah, I missed, it.
I should have been there.
Yeah, but then you like start telling them what you did and some of the stories that you have, and they're like, oh, that sounds, So it was an awesome experience. I mean, Melfort was about 9-hour drive from Winnipeg, so it's about, just for reference, like an hour and a half north of Saskatoon.
Okay.
So it's little town. Amazing hockey community. Like, and when I say full time, it was our school went around our hockey. Our practices were during the day. Like we'd come to the rink at 9:30 in the morning for check-in. If you weren't, in school or you were like, because you can play junior hockey up till you're 20. So I went at 18 my senior year, turning 18, and I was doing like homeschool. I did some like, I showed up. Oh man, like. I mean, and this is, again, not knowing what was happening, but, like, so I enrolled in school there.
Okay.
And this is the first day in math class, and obviously curriculums are different all over the countries and different places to go. And the first day of math class, they're like, oh, here's a test just to see where everybody is. And I'm like, I nailed it. I aced it. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Next class, like everybody pull out your calculators. Everybody pulled out those Texas Instrument $120 calculator. I didn't have one.
Yes.
I've never even seen one before. Never mind know how to use it. Oh yeah. So I slowly stopped going to class and then just stopped going altogether. And then the very first day so I took a math and English class. The very first day of English class. Oh, bud, they wanted us to do. They're like, we're going to break up into groups, and you're going to do a presentation on Saskatchewan agriculture and farming. I'm like, for one, I don't know anybody in this classroom, and they're all looking at me like I'm weird. I'm going to stand up and talk about farming when I never went back to that class. Call my mom. I'm like, we got to get correspondence. It's called correspondence back then, and like I need to do correspondence where they're sending me packages because I'm not going in this class.
Yeah, right.
Wild, yeah. I mean, just like
I could see that for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not I do not like standing in front of groups as like a public speaker.
Yeah,
I can if it's something that I know that like hockey or if I'm educating coaches on stuff like that, but. If I'm just going to bullshit my way through something, I'm nervous as hell up there, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. And so I was just like, and there's no fooling these kids, and half the kids don't like you anyway because you're a dude who came in and you're a hockey player and you're not a local, and you get that vibe. I was just like,
now the kids
one other kid in my class on the team,
Oh, okay. So these kids, these aren't like other fellow teammates.
There's like one other kid on the team.
So you're the new kid here that's just transferred from hockey because you're good and you're trying to go college and then pro.
Yeah.
So they're already looking against you like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just like, and they always say this too because at some point during the year, guys would have girlfriends, and those were girlfriends of the guys that might have been in town. And there's always that towny little riffle. But so it was that. I was very uncomfortable with that, and so I live with a billet family, and they're like, not going to school today. I'm like, no, I'm out. And they're like, well, okay, like, you should probably call your parents. I'm like, yeah.
Should probably let them know.
Yeah, let them know that, So I started doing the correspondence, which worked out well.
Yeah.
And then when I got home in the end of the season in April, I was able to jump into the classroom and kind of pick up where I left off. I mean, a lot of extra homework that I had to take home to get caught up, to get to where I was.
Sure.
But I mean, again, and then it's sort of like living with a billet family. So I moved there. I never lived with billets. I've never lived away from home. So they call them a billet family, where it's a family that the team pays to take you in.
This is okay. Like, I know these things go on. Like, my sister did this for basketball.
Yeah,
was going to transfer, and anyways, it's crazy to me that this still goes on. That kids are so dedicated to a sport.
Yeah.
That there's families in, like, this is big in the South with football and stuff.
Okay,
foster.
Yeah. Pretty much a foster parent, yeah.
They're fosters for you to be able to get into the school system because you have to live, at least in certain states, you have to live for a certain amount of time before you're eligible
get into the school,
to get and play on the sports. So these kids will move, and then they're in a foster home technically because that school district is rated like a and
they want their kids to go there, so the school goes out and finds parents that are willing to do it. Yeah, and that's like,
and it's crazy that still goes on to this day. Like,
it's a huge part of junior hockey. Huge part.
It's a huge part of a lot of sports, I feel like, and that these parents are so dedicated to their kids and having an opportunity that they're willing to, and they're
let somebody else raise their kids, literally, and
all for a sport.
All for a sport.
That's crazy.
It's wild, and you don't know leaving. You don't really know who your billets are, and I mean, we had a couple guys that got stuck in a double wide trailer, and like they had a great experience still, but you just don't know where you're going to end up. And unfortunately, I had like the best billets you could ever ask for. They came to my wedding here when I got married.
Really?
I still get Christmas cards from them. They are some of the best people I've ever been around.
Did they have kids too?
They did, but they were grown. So
that's how I would only do it. I wouldn't bring in some random.
Yeah. So they had an older daughter.
Especially you.
Yeah.
I can only imagine you in high school. Fucking out of control.
Oh yeah. So it was wild though, and for a small town like that to be able to support, like there's like 20 guys on a team, and there's maybe 2 or 3 locals on the team. Everybody else is billeted. Oh yeah. I mean, because if you think about
the school's just recruiting players.
Yeah. So it's So the junior hockey league is it's. There's an ownership group, and the town supports it, and then they have a management that finds billet houses for kids to live in, and they find out, okay, we got this like totally recruited out of Winnipeg to come play here. So for context, like I played my first year, I was on a midget card, which means I was a midget age player signed to a midget contract playing in a junior league. So like I had to wear a cage my first year.
Okay.
But that meant
just off an age thing?
Yeah, off an age thing. But at the end of that season, because I wasn't signed to the junior team, like on a junior card, then I was a free agent at the end of the year. I could go wherever I wanted. If I would have signed that, so they were talking to me about, hey, do you want to, come back and play next year? Because as a rookie, I thought I did really well. I started as like, the youngest guy and as a D man, and I was like, 6'7", 7D. By the end of the year, I was top D pairing with the 20-year-old, and mentored me through the year, and it was awesome.
Really?
Had to wear cage the whole year, which you get made fun of quite a bit. The bird cage they call it. So wearing a cage the whole year, and everybody else has got half visors, and I got a story about that. So this is how I remember stuff. Is like I remember my first fight.
Let's hear about
your I got
How old were you?
I was 17.
Okay.
I got first hockey fight, like helmet off hockey fight. I got hammered from behind. And, instinct is just drop your gloves, turn around, and I start feeding the guy. Well, I didn't realize he's their 20-year-old tough guy. And he took my muffins, ripped my helmet right off my head, and smashed my nose. I mean, both eyes, before he even got off the ice, both eyes are black. Nose was out to here, dude. Oh, it was wild. I'm like, what just happened? Like, I thought I was feeling his jersey's over my head, and I'm just taking uppercuts. I swear I had a soft spot in the back of my head for like 3 months from this guy. No idea what I was doing, but just like the instinct is like, you don't hit somebody from behind, get up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I go to the locker room, and my other teammate is in there already because he got in a little scrap, and he's just like, oh, bro. I'm like, is it bad? He goes, go look in the mirror. And I was like, oh, damn, So, and that's when I was still going to high school, living back home. So then I got to go to school on Monday, and the teachers are letting me just ice my face in the classroom, and everybody's just like, what happened to you? I'm like, dropped him with the wrong guy. I got to read him the game notes,
I feel like you on skates, you got to be 7 foot tall.
I would say I'm like 6'3", so on skates probably like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
And I mean, I was only 17 at the time. I mean, and this was back when there was guys that was their job was to fight.
For sure.
Like that. They're dedicated. He was on the ice to go run somebody to hurt him.
It was you.
And I got put in that. Yep. And thank God I didn't get hurt from the hit from behind. Which in hindsight would have been better than what happened to me. But yeah, so that was my first fight. So
did you learn anything from this fight?
Yeah, read the game notes. Look, know who's the tough guy. Yeah, before you just start dropping your gloves. Yeah, big time. Yeah, and. So, I mean, you live and you learn,
Right.
And pick your spots, But so, I mean, it was a learning lesson, but it was also kind of like a badge of honor to get in your first fight, in your first junior fight.
A real
hand,
yeah.
Gloves off, helmets off, because back then you could take your helmets off, and so.
And in it not being a high school, you weren't suspended or anything.
No, nothing. Games. You're allowed to fight. You get a 5-minute penalty.
See, where we grew up. Obviously, the high school, you got to fight, you were suspended. So a lot of the kids played on Bantams, which went into Canada. So you could play Canada leagues and US
Bantams,
leagues.
Yeah.
So you could fight in Bantams. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of dudes would
do that because you're not getting suspended from school. and that's the other thing with the the high school sports. You have to have a certain grade point average and all that. And that's why my path wasn't really necessarily set on Division I college until it kind of approached me, So like I wasn't sure what to do, and then they're like, hey, you should go to So now I get to go to Saskatchewan. So they're recruiting me. Northern Michigan reached out to me and a buddy of mine, and we're like, hey, like we think you guys should go play in a full-time program and develop more and be on the ice, 5 days a week plus your games. So you're on the ice 7 days a week plus pre-game skate, like a pro schedule pretty much. Like on game days, we'd show up to the rink at 8 o'clock in the morning. We have team meeting, get on the ice, have a pregame skate, go home, have a nap, eat our food, come back to the rink and play the game, and then there was just practice days, So everything else in between was a practice day.
And that is your life.
Your life. I mean, you're literally, everything you do revolves around, especially when you're leaving and the team's paying to live there, and like paying your billets and calling for curfew checks and all that kind of stuff is.
I mean, that's what they're there to. That's what you're.
That's why I left home. Yeah, exactly. So that was. I mean, so. You leave home, you meet this billet family, and my billets were so awesome. Like the first probably 3 weeks, all the money I saved in the summer I spent because I was eating out every day because I was so like shy and embarrassed to like eat their food.
Really?
Or yeah, because I've never had to deal with this before. So like, they're cooking all this food for dinner and I would just eat one plate even though I wanted to eat 3, and there was enough for 3 because they've been building. They know, like, and there was me and I had a roommate and we had 2 separate bedrooms in the basement, and they're just like, eat, and I'm just like, no, it's okay, I'm good. And then I would like jump in my car and like go to A&W or something, like, because I was just shy, like I didn't know, and then eventually like she pulled us aside and she would say, hey, we're going grocery shopping, is there anything you want, anything specific you want? And I'd be like, no, I'm good with everything. And then I would go buy like pizza pops or bags of chips or like because I didn't know, and finally they pulled me aside like, Kory, like, this is what we're here to do, so eat. Like, if you're hungry, just go into the fridge. Yeah. Like, it felt like you're in a stranger's house. You don't just go in a stranger's fridge. Like, that's what you do here. This is what we're here for.
It's your new home.
Yeah, this is your new home. You got to get comfortable, and which was awesome. So after that happened, then, I mean, it got real comfortable, and they're just amazing people. I can't say enough about them. So they made that transition away from home awesome. Because, again, there's no FaceTime. I had to have a calling card to call my parents. I mean, and I had a girlfriend from the high school back in the time. I racked up some phone bills on the calling cards, and you know what I mean? Because there's it's like, it's calling card, and the calling card runs out, and then like, so you're calling
money on it.
Yeah, more money on it.
Tell me you didn't have your calling card number memorized.
Oh, dude, 100%.
The 50 digits,
whatever it was. Yeah, I could sit there in the dark and dial it in the phone.
See, that's how it was in Iraq, bro. Yeah. Like, we didn't have sat phones and shit. You had to find a phone center. Then you had a phone card.
Yeah.
And you can dial. This is no bullshit. I know if you were calling home every day and girlfriends with a calling card, you can dial off the beeps, the tones.
100%
are different. Every
number,
is a different tone.
So literally could do it in the dark, and like I'd be like, I remember times I'd just be in bed at like 2:00 in the morning, just under the thing on the phone, just talking like.
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, I got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. And if you're in an argument, you're like, oh crap! Like, I got to feel this argument because I only got 2 minutes left. She's gonna think I hung up on her. Like, it was wild, dude. Yeah, like those times. But
nobody will. These kids now have
no idea.
Struggle.
No idea. Like, there's no seeing them. There's no, like, literally, like, if you want to see them, would be like, send me a picture. Like, take a picture.
Even then, and those were wind-up cameras.
Yeah, it was brutal.
You had to go get it developed.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it was different, but it was such an experience to be able to.
Hilarious.
And I really think I grew as not only a person, because now, like, my billets have friends, and so they're adults coming over. I'm having adult conversations, sitting in the basement with them, and so I attribute a lot of that growing up, being away from home, to them, because it could have went real bad. If I didn't really have good billets who really cared about us and took care of us, and so that was awesome because I had really great roommates. I had the same roommate so I lived there for 3 years. I had the same roommate for 2 years, and then an absolute beauty of a roommate for my 3rd year, who came in as a WHL player, as an overager, so he's 20, and when you get to that age in the Western League, and that's always what Canadians grew up to aspire, is playing like the Western Hockey League or the CHL, and you would be like where you were from, it'd be like the OHL. Yeah, that's like the top tier junior hockey. But back then, and it's still kind of similar now, but you couldn't get, if you played one game in that league, you couldn't get a scholarship for the States, because they consider it like pro hockey. Now with all the NIL deals and all that kind of stuff,
that all changed.
Yeah, but so like you had to be very careful what you were doing. So like that summer, me and my dad drive out. We check out the rink in the summer. We check out everything and like meet the coach. We meet the front office staff, and like I was like, hey, I think I want to do this. And at the same time, talking with the Swift Current Broncos, which is in the Western Hockey League, and that's kind of every player's goal is play there. And they got me taking fighting lessons during the summer with like Cam Barker. Really? And
So you learned how to fight just for hockey,
and hockey specific fighting. Like they would
really. This is the thing.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. So we would meet at this school like I think it was once a week, and it was always like on a Sunday. So like I'm hungover. I'm like, so then this guy would bag us. So Cam Barker, it's his dad. Cam Barker played in NHL for a long time, and Colt Nor was the other guy that I was there with, who ended up going to Swift Current and had a long career in the NHL for like 10 years. Played for the Rangers, the Bruins, and the Maple Leafs, and absolute killer. And I played junior hockey with him at 16, and he was a 16-year-old in the league who was beating up 20-year-olds. Like
really. Just because of who his dad was and taught him everything, or what? Or is he just natural at it?
Just natural, and then like getting the lessons that he was getting, that he was just, tough as nails, knew how to throw. Yep. And like, at 16 years old, beating up every 20-year-old in the league.
Really?
Like, it was phenomenal to watch, yeah.
And this is who's teaching you how to fight.
Well, I'm lessons with him.
Okay.
With this guy.
Yeah.
And like we would go in, he'd put us through a workout, and then what he would do is he'd tape one boxing glove on the hand, and you'd be wearing a jersey, and then he'd be like, "Okay, sprint a lap around the track, and then come back," and because you never fight when you're fresh in hockey, you're always in the middle of a shift, so you're exhausted,
Yep.
and then he'd grab you and you hold on and be like, start swinging, and he'd like pop you in the nose to get your eyes watering, and I did that for a whole summer.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had no idea this was a thing.
Oh, dude, yeah. So like working out, and I wasn't really working out at the time because again, like most times you went to training camp to get into shape. Now it's like you better be in shape at training camp. Like it was a different time, right?
Yeah.
So this is before everybody's into the lifting and all that. I was kind of dabbling in weights. So I mean, I'm shocking my system already by like sprinting this lap, and then like I got a jersey on, and he's grabbing, he's tussling, he's pushing because you're working on your balance, and you got one glove on, he's popping you, and he's showing you how to grab, and because it's a whole. Like the really good fighters, they got the best holds, the best grabs. They know how to manipulate.
Yeah.
It's definitely an art. So they just.
And you're fighting on skates.
And you're on skates, yeah. So you're trying to get guys off balance. You're trying to, and you got those jerseys on that are so big, so it's tough to like, like guys can slip out of the jersey, so you don't want that because if that arm comes out, then there's nothing to grab onto.
Yep.
Like I mean, if you look at some of the like Bob Probert, I mean, there's not a fight he finished where he wasn't bare chested because his stuff just like shed off, like one piece came off so fast, So now you can't grab nothing. So we would taking lessons all summer doing that, and then. And with the expectation I was going to go play in Swift Current, and then, talking to the school. So like the day I was supposed to go, I was leaving for Melfort. I got a call from Swift Current going, "Hey, like we're excited that, you're coming to camp." And I'm like, "Actually, I'm going to try and go for a scholarship." And, I got the old, "You're making a big mistake," and hung up the phone and never heard from them again.
Really?
Yeah. So then now I'm just like, oh my God, did I just screw up? Because I really still didn't know much about college scholarships, like to a point where like when I started getting so I got to fly down. So after this, I never heard from Northern Michigan again either. So like they're telling us, "Hey, go play for this program," and so I go do it.
Yeah.
And I don't hear from them again either. But then that's when I heard from my college, like Superior State. They had, one of their assistant coaches, like in college hockey, the assistant coaches are usually on the road a lot recruiting. Mm-hmm. So he's, after the game, he's standing outside with his leather jacket with his Lakers logo and wants to talk about going to Lake State and organizing a fly down. And, so then I'm just like, okay, so like I never even heard of an SAT before. Well, I got to take an SAT. And at this time, I'm 20 now. So I've been playing for this team for 3 years.
Oh, shit.
I've been out of school for 2 years.
And you got to take an SAT.
I got to take an SAT.
And the last thing that's been on your mind is learning.
Yeah, 100%. And I didn't even like it when it was on my mind, So like, and that's the other thing that I didn't know growing up was like how important your grades are if you want a scholarship. Like because most Canadians, like, I mean, I still might be one of the only few people in my school that's ever gotten like a Division I scholarship. So like,
really,
yeah, like so the school didn't know how to help me. Like they weren't preparing me for that path, So, but the junior team did. So once that happened, then they organized because there's a lot of guys on the team that got scholarships. So they organized like twice a week. We would meet and they would bring in a guy that would help tutor us and do like. SAT, prep tests and all that kind of stuff, and like show you how to answer the questions, and so you're not just shocked when you get to one. So then, I mean, now it's time to write the SAT, and it's on a Saturday morning, and we had a big win Friday night.
Yeah.
Big win Friday night.
Did you?
Oh, so we're going out. The boys are going out. We're gonna have a blast.
You got an SAT the next
8
morning.
8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm rolling in the house 4 o'clock in the morning, buckled. So. Wake up, alarm goes off, and I'm sweating. I'm still drunk. I got bad stomach cramps. So I go take this SAT, and I just bomb it. I think I got like an 800 or something on it. And the way it worked back then for Canadians was you could take your high school GPA average, and then and that would tell you what you had to get on your SAT in order to clear the clearinghouse for the NCAA. So like if you're a C student, you got to get a higher SAT.
Yeah.
If you're an A student, your SAT you could be a little bit lower, and that average works out to go. So I bomb it. I mean and you're not allowed to leave once you start the test. And they gave you like one section was over, and they give you like a 10-minute break. I'm like, I can't. If I go to the bathroom now. Like, I'm not going to come out in 10 minutes because my stomach is, like, rotten right now. So, I remember this. I'm just sweating in in there, like dripping sweat. All the guys are the same way. We're like wiping it off. And
so there's a whole group of you in there.
A whole group of them. And then some guys are like, I mean, we had one guy write the SAT in French, and he got like he got a scholarship to Princeton. He got like a 1350 or 1400. And I'm just like, I got an 800, dude. And I was just like, this is wild. Yeah, man. So I got a chance to rewrite it. Because they didn't just write me off after that, you know. So I got a chance to rewrite it.
I'm sure you're not the first that's coming.
Oh, yeah. You can write it multiple times. Yeah. There's guys that never get past that. You know? So I rewrote it, and I ended up getting like a 975 or, you know, close to 1,000. I'm like, that's good. That's good. I mean, good enough for me. I think that'll be good. And then, so then it came down to like, okay, my averages of my high school grades, and I was allowed at the end of that season to go back to and upgrade a couple high school classes.
Oh, really?
Just to bring that GPA up to pass the clearinghouse and well over it. So
this is fascinating.
Yeah. So
all the play.
Dude, I'm 20 years old, taking so I'm just like, I took a 10th grade English class.
So now you're like Billy Madison.
Dude, literally. So I took a 10th grade. I got to go see this teacher as a 20-year-old walking through the school, my high school that I haven't been to.
You went back to high school as a 20-year-old.
Well, so I didn't have to sit in the classroom. Okay, so like she gave me like, back then it was called correspondence, right? So she would give me all the coursework. She'd be like, okay, I need to see you in 3 weeks. I want all this finished. Go back, do it again. Because I picked the classes that like really dropped my GPA, because like, I mean, 10th grade, and when you're in 10th grade and you're not even thinking about a scholarship, what do you care about 10th grade English, you know?
Yeah, right.
You know, so like I think I had like a C or a C minus in it or something like that. So I went back and upgraded it and got like a B plus or an A or whatever. So that was great. So then I took a 11th grade history class, and which the history teacher, awesome dude, loved hockey. His brother played in the league that I was playing in, you know, years before me, and understood, you know, what we were doing here. And I'm just like, you know, like I need to be in this class in order to have my GPA where I need it to be. And he's like, all right. And like, I mean, this guy he taught like the Summit series, like he taught hockey history, Canadian hockey history in his class. And so he gave me this packet, and he's just like, okay, come back in like 3 weeks and we'll chat. And I come back in 3 weeks, and he's just like, okay, here's the exam. I go, what? I go, like, we're not going to like do some assignments through the way. He's like, no, you're good. And I go, well, what do I need? Or he goes, what do you need again? I go, I need a B. And he goes, all right, cool, take the exam. So I take the exam, and then I get a call like an hour later. He's like, hey, you got a B plus.
Oh, shit.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I don't know if I did or not, but
we'll take it.
He's the man. He's just like, I'm not going to stop somebody from getting a scholarship, you know. So
good for him, man. There needs to be more people like that.
Dude, so I don't want to say his name because I want to get him in trouble. I don't know if he's still a teacher or not, but hey, shout out to you, because that was unbelievable. And
shout out to helping me live my dream.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how important, like, the things that I didn't know at a young age that could have set me up to be, you know, I put myself through so much extra work because I had no idea. You know, and that's what I love about, you know, where I'm at now is just talking to, you know, if I can talk to parents or I can talk to kids and explain to them like how important like even your 9th grade is to start really, if that's your dream, this is what you this is the line you have to be
It's not just the sport.
It's not, that's just a part of it. And
look at these athletes now on the field. I mean, the knowledge that these quarterbacks have to know.
Oh, that blows my mind what they can do and the recall they have. Like, you listen to Aaron Rodgers talk about a play 6 years ago in Game 3 of the season.
And they're making audibles and changing and shifting, and it's just like you can't.
It's wild, yeah.
The days of just being
going in there, is just it's totally different. So it was such a learning process for me that, you know, I learned that like, do it right the first time, because that extra work, really, I mean, it could have costed me. So then it goes into, okay, I get to fly down. I fly into Lake State. Because of where it is, it's in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Okay.
So it's like the Upper Peninsula. So I had to fly into Sault Ste. Marie, Canada, and then they picked me up there, and it's just a bridge that goes over the Soo Locks.
Okay.
And then the campus is right there. So they picked me up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a real cool deal. So they picked me up. Meet the coaches, see the locker. I mean, unbelievable facilities. A small Division I school is the only Division I sport there, but Michigan hockey's, you know,
Michigan hockey football don't play
big time. Yeah. So beautiful facility. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. Like the oak stalls in the locker room and the logo and the carpet and our own gym, our own.
So they got some money.
Sauna. Oh yeah, and they won the national championship in like the early '90s, like '92, and then again in '94, something like that, and. The Illich family, who owns the Red Wings, donated a lot of money to them after that, so they could build this facility, the Taffy Able Arena, it's called, and just gorgeous facility. So I mean, I'm just shocked. You know, this is amazing. awesome. You know, they send you out with a couple players. They take you to dinner. You know, we went across to Canada and had a little fun at the bars over there because it was 19 on that side. Ontario's a little different than Manitoba, so it was 19 on that side. But I was 20 at the time already, pushing 21. And so they take you out, you go out, you know, you have some fun, you're hanging with the team, get to know the guys, and then you go back in the morning. The coach meets you at the, you know, you stay in the hotel. He picks you up. And
are you by yourself, or is your dad with you?
All by myself, yeah.
You don't have no parents with you or anything?
No, by myself, yeah. So, I mean, again, learning experiences, right? And so, I mean, professors.
I guess you're 21 at this point, but
Yeah,
it's still,
20.
I mean, your dad's, like, helped you through all this, right? Or
I would have been nowhere without my parents.
And they didn't want to be there? Or they couldn't be there?
I don't think they got invited to be there, to tell you the truth.
Oh,
It was just, hey, we're going to fly Kory in, and,
Yeah.
you know, obviously it's a lot cheaper. And they flew me in, you know, so I don't know what questions to ask. I don't know. I know enough to ask, like, where do you see me in your roster? Because, I mean, that's what I was thinking.
That's what
you know?
matters.
Like, when I went to college, it was to stay eligible. I wasn't worried about, you know, like, so I took criminal justice was my major. I was just like, I want to take something that's, you know, easy and that I can stay eligible with. And so I told them that's kind of what I was leaning towards, but I still never really looked at college courses or anything like that. So they introduced me to the professors. They showed me the dorms. You know, guys are hanging on the dorms. I go watch a practice. I go see, you know, sit through a video session, all that kind of stuff. See them working out, and just like, you know, they're all. I mean, and I'm watching this now, and like, I mean, especially for hockey, they like to take, you know, players at like 20, 21. So, I mean, by the time you're graduating, you're 25 years old. Like, these are grown-ass men that have been working out for 4 years. Like, I'm looking in the weight room going, these guys are beasts. And our coach was a workout-aholic. Like, that's what it was like. We're going to outwork every team. We're not be the best skilled, but we're going to outwork everybody. So I was like, holy crap. Like, I didn't know what I was in for. And
change of pace.
Exactly. And so I'm just like, wow, this is unbelievable. So I take the flight out and I go back home. There's no official offer. I didn't sign anything. It was just like, you know, so and then the season continues and there's an all-star game and I got selected for the all-star team. So we did the Northern Saskatchewan division played the Southern Manitoba division, like a crossover between the two leagues.
Okay.
And then vice versa, the Southern Saskatchewan played the North. So, and this one was being held in like Winkler, Manitoba, which is like a couple hours or not even outside of Winnipeg. So I had an awesome all-star game, like phenomenal all-star game, did really well.
And you played defense, obviously.
Yeah, I played defense. Broke up I remember the one play that I was probably the one that got the coach to talk to me, but I broke up a 3-on-1, laying down, stopped the cross with a stick, and I sent the guy in a breakaway, and he scored, and it was just awesome. So I'm talking to now Maine, the Maine Black Bears, which in college hockey is like one of the holy grail teams. Like
really?
They're like a Minnesota Gophers. They're like a Michigan Wolverines. It's like the Maine Black Bears. Like Paul Correa played there. You know, the coach of the Boston Bruins played there. Like it's
got some history.
History, and it's like one of those known programs. And he's just like, hey, Kory, really liked your play. Gave me his business card. He's like, send me your transcripts, you know. And me not knowing jack shit, I didn't send him anything because I thought that would be insulting to the school that flew me down. I thought that would be insulting to Lake State. Because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know. There was nobody to guide me in this or anything like that.
You had no mentors or anything. You're just figuring it out.
Yeah, and my parents are figuring this out as they go. You know, no idea what to do, and they're just like, and then being from like my dad being from the old school, he's just like, you got somebody who's offering you something right now.
Disrespect them.
Exactly it, right? And I felt the same way. Like, man, if I go on a fly down for them and they hear about it, what if they yank that offer and they don't make me this offer?
But I have
like,
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like, I didn't know what to do, so I just, hey, I got an offer. I'm going to take it, you know? So I didn't even call him back. I didn't nothing, you know? And not to say I would have been on that team, but it was an opportunity. And come to find out when I get to college, it's like, oh, Dad, I went on like 4 fly downs. I went on 3 fly downs. I'm just like, oh, you take them all? They're like, yeah. I'm like,
you're like, who offered you?
Yeah. I had no idea about this shit. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So again, learning, you know, but
growing and learning.
Yeah. But I mean, these are the things that like, where would have I ended up then? You know, I'm here now. I got an amazing family. You know, all that. I had an awesome career here. I got an awesome job here. So like, what would have if I went down that path? Who knows? And I don't like to play the what if game, but I like to be thankful for what I have. So, so super stoked on where it landed me. And I know, you know, at Lake State when I came in, and we had like 17 freshmen come in. So I knew if I just played well, that I would have a spot in the line.
Oh shit!
Yeah, a new coach came in, kind of cleared house.
Okay.
And he was a coach that won back in the '90s, and he left for a few years, and he he came back, and
which is a good thing. I mean,
yeah. So he's a winning coach. His style was a little old school, and I think a lot of guys left or transferred out because you could transfer out, but you'd have the red shirt for a year back then. So they didn't like it. They didn't. I mean, because he's hard work. So, another lesson is, I should have started working out hard after seeing what they were doing, because when I showed up that first year as a freshman, I couldn't walk for 3 weeks. I had such bad shin splints.
Really?
Dude, I missed so many classes because like we would get to the rink at 6 a.m, jog to the coach's house, and like he lived on a hill, and we're running hill sprints. We're doing all these sprints, and then it was 8 a.m. class, and then it was go back for practice at 2 o'clock, and there's NCAA rules where you can't be on the ice for a certain amount of time. So like we're just doing like 2 a days, 3 a days, and like now we're lifting, now we're doing this, and then like you go from 2 to like, I mean, there was times where he had to call a cafeteria to keep it open for us because we were working out for that long. We'd be running in the track. We would be.
Those are the best coaches,
dude. It was phenomenal. Like he transformed. Like my body transformed those 4 years in college. Like I looked like an action figure by the time I got out of there. It was phenomenal, you know. But I made mistakes along the way with that too. So that whole year. So then I'm now missing classes because like in my head I'm like, I need to play. I'm not worried about classes. Like, so my first year, I got put on a performance plan where like at some point they called me into the locker room or to the coach's office, and he's like, you have missed like 30 classes. And like, do you realize you have to stay eligible and you have to do this? And I'm just like, I don't want to say it's because I'm working out too hard, you know? So I'm just like, no, you're right. I got to, you know, this, and this. And they could have just gassed me right there, but they didn't, which was amazing. But what they did do is I had a sheet of paper that had all my classes on it. And after every class, I had to go up to the professor and get him to sign it. And then I had to hand it in at the end of the week before the games. If I was missing a signature, I wasn't playing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You missed 30 classes before
Christmas, dude. My first year, yeah.
You just stopped going.
Dude, I would go like once every 2 weeks. And then at a point, it's like, you haven't been there in so long. Like,
you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and then if you just show up, they'll be like, well, who are you? What are you doing here? It's just like
I've been here from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's a small school, so there's small classes. Like, I mean, there's like 3,000 students
so
or
you're just digging yourself a hole from the start.
Huge hole.
Missing a shit ton of school.
And no idea what I was doing, man. Like, and even at the start, like when I first got there, because of where my math was and what's my grades, like you can start in like 100 classes or you start in like 101 classes, and so they give you like a test at the start, that pre-test to see where to place you. Well, I literally, you know what those like Scantrons are?
Yeah.
I literally like spelt my name out in the test and then handed it back in because like it was time, like all the teams there, like everybody's going places. I wanted to go party. So like, again, just screwed myself. So then I have to go back and take these classes that like I passed them all.
101 classes already. You have to do them again?
Oh, before 101, 086, whatever they're called, dude, like remedial.
The pre-101.
Yeah, literally, because again, I just filled stuff out because I wanted to go play. I wanted to go have fun with the boys. That's what was going to happen. They were going to parties. They're going across town. I'm sitting in this classroom all by myself and not knowing what I'm doing, you know? Screwed myself again. So then I had to take extra classes just to get to where I needed to be for my major wild, dude. So I screwed myself there. Screwed myself by not going to all these classes.
And you're still in school.
I'm still in school, and this is my freshman year. So, like...
Freshman first semester.
First semester, dude. And, like, just putting myself behind the 8 ball like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. So, I learned. Obviously, I learned, right? So, I learned from that, you know, straightened myself up, went to all my classes. I mean, obviously, there's always a way to get around stuff. Like, I mean, the real big classes is, like, 300 people. Like, if it was a day that I did have to miss it, I would just show up at the end of class, and when people are leaving, there's 300 people in there. He doesn't know if I'm there or not. Yeah. So I just walk in and be like, hey, it's time to sign my form again, and I get it signed.
No shit.
I would have
done the same. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what they should teach you in schools, like how to get around stuff. Because once you get out, it's all cheat, steal, you know? like what do you
manipulate, figure it out.
Why rewrite everything that's been written already when you can just get it from somebody else or somewhere else?
I think guys like us, like, we were prepared for the real world by fucking off in high school and figuring out how to get away with everything and all the loopholes. 100%.
100%. So, like, get through my freshman year, and then now I'm working out hard, starting to transform the body, starting to work out, and then I come home and all my buddies are working out now, which is awesome, but they're not working out to be hockey players, they're working out for the beach. So 2 different kind of workouts.
For sure.
So I go ahead and put on like 10 pounds of muscle in the summer, lifting heavy, not really doing the plyos, working out. Like I came back with the least amount of body fat I've ever had, but the heaviest I've ever weighed and the slowest I've ever been.
Yep.
Because and they're like, what? Like, you look great, but what the hell were you doing? You didn't follow the workout plan? I'm just like, well, I'm working out with my buddies doing, and they're like, dude, I had to go in the Fat Boys Club. Like, this was back when you were allowed to have that stuff.
Yeah, the Fat Kid program.
I had like 8% body fat, and I'm in the Fat Boys Club because I was like 235 pounds of just giant tank that couldn't move. Yeah. So I just had to go in the Fat Boys Club. I had to run after every practice until and I had to start lifting lighter but more
work
again, man. And now I've never really thought about it this much until we've had this conversation. How many times I screwed myself. Just follow the plan, man.
Some of us are
learn the hard way, dude.
We got to swim upstream.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
fight everything.
That's just how we're wired.
Yeah.
Man.
So I learned the hard way. I figured it out though. By the end, I was where I was supposed to be, and I mean, I have to think. I played a ton in college. I got every opportunity. So it never affected my ice time, which is where I gauged the stuff by back then. It was my ice time. So if I'm skating by and I'm getting away and I'm still getting to play, then I should be okay. Even though I could have set myself up way better than I was.
So was it? Once you got the learning curve out of the way, was college pretty skate?
I thought it was easier than high school. Because it's you got a couple classes, you have, it's not all day. You go to a couple classes, it's broken up. You have a night class, and I really got into it, the criminal justice stuff, the firearms training, the even stuff that I'm more interested in now than I was in college, the humanities side of stuff where they're talking about ancient Rome and ancient Greek. I'm just what? This is stupid. And then now, I watch every movie on Netflix that comes out about Rome and barbarian, all that kind of stuff, Viking, whatever it is. So I found that once I got dialed in and I actually cared about what we were doing and I understood that, hey, you can't just be screwing off. I found it the actual work when I did it was easier in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And doing it the first time the right way.
Yeah, 100%. So college was awesome.
Craziest college story. Okay, no, pause. Craziest college fight.
Craziest college fight.
If you're in there in the dorms or wherever you were staying with a bunch of hockey players, I know you guys got in some
We actually that's funny you say that because we didn't get in fights in college.
Really?
Because we were under such a microscope.
Oh, okay.
So our first year, we had I wouldn't say a fight, but we had a riff with what we called the extreme team, and they were all the guys that did the rope climbing and they like to do the extreme stuff, so we called them the extreme team. And got a couple stories about that. It almost led to fights. It led to, some rallies outside their houses and stuff like that. But yeah, we were under such a microscope that we couldn't, we had to carry ourselves as best as possible. But so the extreme team, they pulled a prank one time and, on a couple guys on our team. So after our freshman year, we were allowed to leave the dorms and we lived in the town, side by sides pretty much. So we're all just in a big row, and all the athletes were in there, the volleyball players, basketball, tennis, all that, all the hockey players. And it's springtime, season's over, and we got a couple of our teammates pull their couch outside, and they're sitting out front on their couch, shirts off, and there's a big parking lot in the middle, and probably having a couple pops. And I'm walking down from class, down the hill, and I look up, and there's these guys are on the roof. They use all their ropes and their belays and everything. They get big, giant thing of water on the roof, and they dump it over, and just covers them in water, so pretty funny. They were pissed kind of thing, but it was kind of funny, this and that. And then so we didn't really think about what are we going to do to get them back, but they retaliated before we got a chance for it. So they ordered these guys, I gave it to them, they ordered 5,000 crickets offline in a giant box, and nobody locked their doors then. Ripped open the box, I think they had 2 boxes, and threw them inside their house. Dude, 5,000 crickets that go a lot of places. They were, dude, so they walk into the house, after the bar at 2 a.m, and it was crunch, crunch, crunch. You turn on the lights, and there's crickets everywhere, dude. Everywhere. Thank God it wasn't my house, dude. Under their, they threw one up in the bedroom.
Crickets stink so bad,
and they're so loud, and they get into every for the next 3 months. They would hear crickets just going off, So we're all of us together, pull all their stuff out, all their clothes under their beds. There's just shaking out crickets everywhere. But they went in every nook and cranny of that house, man. So that really got us fired up. So the next thing you know, we're outside their house banging on their windows, and they're looking out the things so they don't want to come out. And guys are on the hoods of their cars, peeing on the windshields, doing all that kind of stuff. So that almost escalated real quickly. But again, then you got the captains on the team. They're guys, this turns into something, we're screwed. It's going to affect us more than it's going to affect them because they're just students,
Crickets, that's a good one.
Dude, wild. I had to hand it to him like, that's pretty funny because it wasn't my house.
Dude, we, in high school, we had this teacher that this dude hated me. And I never even had him for a class. He came in like after I'd already graduated.
Oh, really?
He just fucking hated me. Well, he lived out in the country. And he pinned me against the lockers one day when I was in the hallway all by myself.
Oh, no way.
There was a pen on the floor, and I don't know. I didn't see it. I just kicked it. And he's like, pick it up. And I was like, it's not mine. And he's like, comes over out of his classroom, and he slams me against the lockers and puts his thumb in my ribs. And I'm looking at him the whole entire time like, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Man. I was like, I'm going to fucking get you back for this, kind of deal. Long story short, this is actually a great story. In the springtime, my cousin and I, we were fishing for bullhead, these little catfish.
Yeah. Oh, I know what those are.
Yeah.
A lot of them in Minnesota.
Yeah, so bullhead. People don't know what bullhead are either.
Oh, yeah, they look like a mini catfish with little stingers on them.
Yeah, and the restaurants buy them, so we'd go out all night. I mean, we'd fish till the sun come up, and we'd sell them to the restaurant. Anyways, we're coming back one night, and we're out in the country, and I come around this bend, and there's thousands and thousands of frogs in the road. I don't know if they were mating, migrating. I don't know. There were those leopard frogs, those grass leopard frogs. So I slammed the brakes on. I'm like, fuck, get some for bait. Like,
oh, yeah.
Grab some. So my cousin jumps out, goes in the back truck, grabs a bucket, goes in front of the headlights, and he bends over for like 30 seconds, if that. And he like pops up and he gets in the truck.
Bucket full.
Whole bucket. I'm talking like they're crawling out. We're like had to get back out of the truck. We had to find cover for it.
No way.
And we're like, dude, we got all this bait. Like, what are we gonna do with these frogs? Well, Mr. Oliver was my teacher at the time. He lived in between where I had to drop my cousin off of. Out in the country. Like I'm talking, he's out in the sticks. So his house is on one side of the road, and he's got this barn with his truck parked out on the other side. It's just a one-lane backcountry road. And I was like, let's go throw him in Mr. Oliver's truck. My mind registered, like, throw him in the back. So he just has, like, a bed full of frogs.
Yeah.
So my cousin's like, all right. I had a little Chevy S10, a little stick. So I was like, I'll get going real fast, put it in neutral. We'll just cruise by his house. You run back by, throw him in the truck, and then jump in and we'll go to your house.
Yeah.
So Andrew gets that cruise, get going real fast, turn the truck off and cruise by and come to a stop. And I see Andrew like run off. I can see the white bucket, and he had a barn light on. Yeah. All of a sudden, the dome light of the truck turns on. And I'm looking behind me. I'm like, oh, shit. And he comes, you just see this white bucket in the dark.
Go.
He jumps in, go. He dumped a whole bucket of frogs.
No way.
In Mr. Oliver's truck.
Wild.
Well, the next day we get to school. And he knew, because we were always fucking with this guy. My dad hit his mailbox. My dad plowed, so we just take out his mailbox. And so this guy was just a dick to me. So the next day we come back in, and he's standing in the doorway. I had him for a what are they called? Like a study hall.
Okay, yeah.
I have to go to his class. And that's why he hated me, because I just fuck off in a study. I had nothing to do besides screw off, you know? And so I go to walk in. And he like pins me in the door, and I was like, "Good afternoon, Mr. Oliver." Like, how's your day going? And he pins me. He's like, "I know it was you. And I was like, "What are you talking about, Mr. Oliver?" And he's pushing me into the frame of this door, and he lets me in, and I go sit down, and my cousin's coming up, just like pinned to the door, like because my cousin's in the same study hall with me. He has us together, and same thing, comes in, pins him to the door. I'm dying laughing. We would catch frogs that whole rest of the year. Anytime we ever caught a frog, we'd put it in a glass jar and put it in his desk, or we'd leave it on his desk. We fucked with this guy the whole entire season. He hated us.
Awesome.
But, so my other cousin ends up buying the truck like a year later, and we were like, "Hey," he's like, "Did you ever find a frog in there?" He's like, "How did you know about the frogs?" And we're like, "There was frogs in it?" He's like, "It always had this weird smell, like a mildew funk smell to it." And he's like, "So my dad and I decided to start taking it apart one day, and they started unbolting everything, and he said there was just dried, crispy frogs up in the air vents. They were in the seats. I felt bad. Yeah. I don't know. It's just in high school. You don't they're going to get stuck in there."
Yeah.
And he said every single thing that they tore apart in that truck had frogs just dried up in it.
No way. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I couldn't imagine crickets.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
even worse. But
there's probably people for a year later worrying about those crickets,
100%.
Yeah, wild. That's a hilarious story.
Yeah, Mr. Oliver, if you're listening, you got what you deserve.
Yeah, right.
He's one of those.
We
got him a few times. Well, that guy was public enemy number one. He was on my target list.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, so that was yeah, so college, like, again, like we had to be on our best behavior under a microscope, all that kind of stuff. And then my senior year, we lost out in the playoffs, and that's how I got to Boise. I got recruited. Agents start reaching out to you a little bit here and there, and then the coach I was dealing with wasn't a big fan of the agent, so the coach just called me directly, and his name was Derek Laxell at the time, and he's been up and down the NHL, American League. I think he's in Coachella right now but awesome guy. Reached out, brought me in my senior year, so I left in like March and came here, and they're waiting on the visa work because I'm still Canadian at this point, so they're working on my visa work, and I play my first professional. So I go on the road with them, and we go to like in a time like Long Beach and San Diego were in the league. So like I played my first pro.
How was that?
Wild, dude. I played my first pro game in Long Beach against the Long Beach Ice Dogs, and their ice was blue. And their red lines, the blue lines are yellow. It was wild. Like, to play your first game on something that different.
Extreme.
I couldn't see the puck. I was just disoriented while I was out there because it was just like such a different.
You only know one thing.
Only one thing, like white ice, like blue ice. This is, and it's a gimmick. I mean, a lot of the time back then it was a gimmick to get people to the rink and all that kind of stuff. So play there, and then we go to San Diego, and the awesome part was my college roommate. I'm roommate with these two brothers, the Adamak brothers, Mark and Mike, and out to this day, like some of my best friends. Yeah. Mark goes to San Diego to play his game, so he get recruited to San Diego. Mike came here to Boise with me. Okay. And he's American, so we got to play a couple games right away. And then there was another guy that we played against, Andy Contois, who played in northern Michigan that got recruited here. And then I think we had one more player. So there was like 5 of us all in one weekend that all just like literally left a week ago or 2 weeks ago that are all playing against each other and together for the first time. Like,
really?
Oh, man, it was wild.
How was that?
The party we had in San Diego was unbelievable.
And you've never been to San Diego before?
Never been to San Diego. Never been to California. Never been anywhere like that. So like,
you just got exposed to like a crazy culture shock.
This is pro hockey. Like, and like the guys on the team like that are veterans that have been there a long time. They're like, we're going to Pacific Beach and we're drinking. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're somewhere on the beach drinking. I'm like, 'cause we had like a day off, and
I love America.
We go back to the hotel and like there's pool party. The pool's closed, but we're all in the pool. Guys are falling over the wall trying to get in, landing on the pool furniture and just shattering the plastic tables and stuff. And like, I'm like, this is wild, dude. Yeah,
like this is what I've been waiting for.
Exactly.
I've made it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I get paid to do this. Like, wow. Yeah. So that was my first experience with pro hockey, and then played those 2 games, and then it was playoffs. So then I ended up playing. We lost. This was when Vegas had the Wranglers there, so we ended up losing the first round in Game 7, and I must have done good enough to get recruited to come back. So came back the next year as like a rookie, a full blown. Went back to school, finished everything up after that was over, and then this is the other thing. Like, I've never been in the mountains like this before. So when I stepped off that plane at the airport, I was like, oh my god.
Because in southern Canada, Saskatchewan,
man, you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. It's so flat. Literally, dude. There's nothing.
Yes,
flat as can be.
I remember driving for hours before we saw a tree.
Dude, the biggest hills we had to like sled on as kids were literally, and this is gonna be funny, that they were old garbage dumps that they sodded over. That was like our sledding hill outside of our school, like literally.
You get a piece of steel.
Yeah, man. Like, open. It was like, that's an old garbage dump. That's our sledding hill. Yep. So. So I was just blown away by the scenery, and we lived back then. All the players lived in Columbia Village with the apartments there behind the Albertsons. Okay, so you just got the view of the foothills, and so the whole team's in there. So I come back my next year, and as a rookie, I had great teammates, great D partner, and we win the championship that year. Which was like something I wasn't going to really respect until I'd never had a sniff again after that, for the next 6 years. But it was probably the coolest year with such a mixture of guys. That we had some serious characters on the team, like guys that are just the absolute beauties that like you could write books about. You could have a movie about these guys and how they are, and just like the best team guys. And it was wild. We had such a good team. Everybody gelled together. We had guys going up and down to the American League, guys going to the NHL after that. A couple guys on that team. There's like 3 or 4, I think, ended up in the NHL. We had Jeremy Yablonski on our team, who was like, I don't know, for people in Idaho, he was pretty legendary around here. He ended up, during our playoffs, he kind of got left off the roster, and he had an MMA fight when they were doing the MMA fight.
Yeah.
He was heavyweight champ. He beat the guy in like 7 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, and like we had him his jersey on the thing. There's a news clip of it, and we're throwing him his jersey, and he's on the balcony. Like, it was unbelievable. And the other team is there watching this, knowing that this guy's a killer.
About to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, unbelievable. So we had such a mixture of tough guys, skill guys. And just like characters on that team, that it was such an unbelievable year, and we all stuck together. We all, like guys stuck up for each other on the ice. It was such a cool experience that, that's why I came back, and I met my wife, like March of that year. We started dating, and then I come back in the summer, and then eventually started staying here in the summer. But so then obviously I wanted to come back the next year, coming off a championship. So I came back here again. We lost out in the first round of playoffs, and it was very disappointing after coming off a championship like that. And then came back again for a third year. Had a good year. Like, personally, I was having good years in between this, so I was always developing as a player, getting better. And then was kind of like, okay, it's time to maybe try something different. So then I ended up going to Europe, playing in Holland, in Tilburg, Holland.
How is playing in Holland?
It was unbelievable. So the coolest thing was the culture there, like super welcoming. When you start speaking English, it was either they were too scared to speak English with you, which was like funny because like I can't speak your language. So if you're gonna try to speak mine, I'm not gonna make fun of you for it. Like, but I mean, the cool part was you could pretty much get by anywhere you went because somebody could help you out and speak English, and you could understand what you're trying to order, and it's like it wasn't too foreign, And we're about an hour,
just enough to realize you are in a foreign country.
100%. Yeah. Old buildings, the cobblestone roads, like when you get there, like I get pick up the airport in Amsterdam, and because we're about an hour and a half drive from Amsterdam, about an hour train ride. Oh, everyone's come visit you when you're close to Amsterdam. So I had buddies come visit my brother. And it's phenomenal, dude. It's the whole culture there was awesome. Like, I've never seen like so many people on bikes. Like, school would get out, it would look like the scenery behind the bikes were moving because there's so many people on a bike. Nobody look like people like on an escalator and it looks like they're not moving, but everything else is. That's what it looked like on the sidewalks with bikes. Like,
really,
every dude had a girl sitting side saddle on the back of the bike, and there'd just be. You go to the grocery store, there's 100 bikes outside. You go to the train station, there's 1,000 bikes outside, just all locked to each other, and like
really.
Wild, yeah, wild. And we had some awesome people on the team. I had another Canadian roommate that I was living with out there who was from Edmonton, and I mean, we learned a lot of things there too. Like, the first day we're like, well, we need to get some food, so we go spend like €100 at the grocery store and come back, and like 2 days it's all bad because they don't put preservatives in their food or anything there. So like, we're like, why is the freezer this big? How are we supposed to put all this stuff in there? And it's like, well, you go every day and get your food kind of thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so did a lot of that. We had one of our team sponsors was I'm going to jump all over the place here because there's so many things that pop in my head when we're doing this, but one of our team sponsors, like, and I like to, like, when I was in Saskatchewan, I dove into the farming. Like, I thought it was awesome. Like, I remember sitting on a cow, holding its leg because it broke it on a calf, and then they had to saw the leg off. So, I'm just like, well, I'll help. So I'm sitting on it, holding the leg while they're sawing it off and cauterizing it, and then literally use an old hockey sock, put it over top and duct tape it on and slap the thing on the ass, and away it goes, and so I was out at the farm all the time. It was so much fun to be out there driving around the trucks, just cruising. So same thing when I got to Holland. Like, I wanted to get into the culture. I thought it was awesome. I wanted to learn as much as I could about them. And there's this. It's called. They have like big. It's saunas there. They're called saunas. Like what you think here, but it's like a whole experience. So you go to this place, and it's like a private club, and it's got a restaurant in the middle, and it's got like 4 or 5 different kinds of saunas, like the red light sauna, just
really
like different kinds. And they have like the saltwater baths where like you rub a bunch of salt on you, and they're only like 2 feet deep, but you kind of lay in there and float because it's so salty. And then they have like a herbal hot tub, and then they have a pool, and like everything's buck naked there, like everything. Like the change rooms. Co-ed change rooms.
How was that?
Wild, dude. It was like, at first I'm like, wearing, like, it was just very, like, they give you a robe and sandals when you come in, and like there's a change room, and you go in there and there's just like chicks just chatting away in there, like it was a whole other experience that I was just like, wow, this is crazy, you know?
This is awesome.
Yeah, but it wasn't. You would think that, but it was never chicks you wanted to see naked.
It never is, bro.
Dude,
you go to a nude beach and it's all the old giant ass women.
Oh yeah, dude. And then they have this thing. It's called. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's called like an aufguss. So what that means is it's a giant sauna that like 40 people go in.
Okay.
And they do it like twice a day at certain times, and the sauna lady will come in and she'll have like 4 different buckets of like Chinese mint, sage, whatever it is that they dump on the rocks.
Oh.
And dude, so the first one we went in, and there's a Canadian guy on the team who has Dutch heritage, so he's been there for a long time and could speak fluent Dutch. So I'm sitting there's my first time in one of these, and I mean we haven't even started yet, and I'm just like sitting in a puddle of sweat, like just dripping sweat, and they're all talking in Dutch.
And you're not. You're just.
I had no idea. My buddy just starts howling. And then he starts talking to me in just English, you know. And so they realized that I'm not from there because I wasn't saying anything. And then now I was the big joke of the sauna. Like, so what she would do is she'd pour a bunch of stuff on the rocks, and then she would whip the steam at you with like a wet towel. I thought my skin was gonna melt, dude.
That'll make you see Jesus,
bro. Literally. I mean, I breathing in, my nose was on fire. My lungs were on fire.
Especially when they put sage or like eucalyptus in there.
Eucalyptus was a big one, and then the Chinese mint was a big one, and then so I'm like, and there's 3 sets of it, so they go 2 buckets in a row, and then you take a break and you go outside and like they just lay in the snow. They bring all these bowls of fruit out that you eat, you know, and then you go back in, and I mean, I literally had to get up, and I'm sitting like I didn't realize, so I'm sitting like in the back, so like I had to get out and I had to go through like 3 people, you know. I'm like, excuse me, you know, trying to get out of there, and they just start howling as I'm leaving the sauna. They're just like, this idiot doesn't know what he's in for. So I go outside and I'm just like, I'm almost passing out. I'm just like so hot, and they haven't even got halfway through the first bucket, and I'm just like. So I sit out there until their break, you know, because I was going to go back in and excuse me. And I come out, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like literally just sitting buck naked in the snow, just like, oh my God, like I can't cool off, like all dizzy. The fruit comes, and I just crush all this fruit. So it's time to go out big in, and I just roll up all these big snowballs. I got snowball under this, snowball underneath me, snowball here, snowball in my hand, just sitting there holding it against my chest. And like they are, like my buddy was almost crying. He was laughing so hard because they're just talking in Dutch. I'm like, look at this idiot, pretty much, you know.
We call those sweat lodges.
Yeah, exactly, dude. By the end of the season, I was able to make it through the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I got to build up to it and stuff like that. Because I got really into the saunas. Like, I loved it when I was out there. I was even sauning on game days. We had a deal with the gym down the street from the apartment I lived in. So I go to the gym on a game day, do a light little workout, and go sit in the sauna. Once you learn how to properly come out of a sauna and cool down properly and take the cold shower and sit there and relax, and it doesn't drain you like it would if you just go sit in the sauna and don't do the proper steps to cool down. You're kind of sweat the whole day. Like when you get a real hot shower and you don't, and you wonder why your shirt is all wet because you're still sweating because you can cool down before you put your stuff on. So it's the same kind of concept, you know. So that was one of the funniest stories I had there. Was like just like not being in foreign land with foreign people and just being the dumbass who thinks he's going to sit through this thing and like. So that was a pretty, by the end of the year, then you go in and you can have a beer. You go sit there and have a beer at the restaurant, order food, and everybody's in their robes.
Really?
People just walk around, buck cheese. Yeah, it was wild, man. Yeah, it was mostly like a lot of older people because it was like a private club.
Okay.
So yeah, but you're sitting in there and like people just walking by, buck naked, and you're sitting at a table in a robe eating. It's like this high end club. Yeah, it was a cool experience. You know, so like. You're sitting in a sauna, and all of a sudden, like either these old dudes come in or these ladies come in, and it's just their culture. They just take everything right off, and you're sitting there wrapped in your towel, you know. Just like it took a while to warm up to that, you know.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, so that was a real cool experience, just being over there. And again, like everybody wants to come visit when you're a place like that. So I had a couple buddies from back home that you know, grew up with like a couple years same age as my brother that were like hockey players and they're firefighters and stuff. And these 2 guys came and they were doing a whole European trip. So, you know, we'd meet them we were playing in Amsterdam. So I just left my bag and stuff with the team after the game, and you know they took the bus back, and then I was just gonna take the train home. So I spent 2 days in Amsterdam with them, just partying, hanging out, doing a bunch of.
I want to go to Amsterdam,
dude. It's awesome. The people are cool. We went to a comedy show because it was like an American comic that went in there and did this comedy show, and just the buildings and the places to eat and. I mean, obviously there's a lot of fun you can have there. So it was a great time. So
what year was this?
That was like 2011, 2010,
okay.
11, I believe is when it was. So, and then like jumping on the train, just taking the train back. And then my brother and his wife at the time, they came to visit. Same thing, met them there, did a whole thing. And then they would go do their European tour, come back, stay, watch a couple games. Then we'd go out driving back up to Amsterdam. Because when you get there, they give you a car. Like they give you like the team gives you a car with the team logo on the side, and it's good and bad. It's good because you get a car. It's bad because the team logo's on the side. So it's just like a little Volkswagen Fox.
That sounds like a horrible idea. I would never recommend giving any sports team a car with a logo on it.
We had a teammate, and this guy's like. He's one of those beauties, like an absolute awesome. His first experience playing there was he was at the gas station across the street from the rink getting some energy drinks before the game, and the place gets robbed, and he's in there, and the guy's standing outside trying to tell him not to go in because he's the lookout, and he doesn't speak Dutch, so he has no idea what the guy's saying. He just kind of looks at him, goes in, grabs his drinks, turns around, put it on the table, and there's a guy standing there with a knife holding the place up, and he looks at him and looks at him, and he's just like, so he's like 10 minutes late for the game because the cops are trying to get his story after the place got robbed. Yeah, so he's just like, I don't know, I just walked into a robbery. I didn't know what was happening. So absolutely wild. Like just, so many little things that, that happen over the years. And the team that owned us, they're called the Distill Trappers. They owned William Tway, which was the soccer team in town. Okay. So like we got to go to the soccer games in the private boxes. And
how's the culture over there? Is it pretty tight or?
Oh, very tight, very family oriented. Very friendly, very like welcoming. Like it was really cool because like we were talking about before the podcast, but like, after the game, it was all like really you're integrating with the fans a lot. Like after every game, it was.
Oh, how are the fans?
Fans are there. I mean, hockey fans are soccer hooligans over there. It's the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. So like our rink had a section that chained off where like chain link fence, where like the
divide the bleachers.
Yeah. So where the visiting fans had their section, they had to go in there.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
So you have your version of hockey or soccer hooligans for the hockey over there.
Yeah, because they react the same. That's their culture. So like, it was wild. Dude, there was one game that we had to get escorted to our bus by military.
What?
Yeah. So we were playing in is it like Galeen or Grown Again or something like that, and like there's some teams in the league that have really good budgets and are able to pay players, and so they're very competitive. And there's some teams that don't. Mm-hmm. So some of those teams you kind of beat pretty handedly, and like me and my roommate both being Canadian, playing like a North American style game, very physical. The European style isn't very physical. You play on Olympic sized sheets, so it's bigger ice. It's more of a skill game. I mean, I would get penalties for like literally just hitting too hard. It was a clean hit. And the guy had the puck, nothing dirty about it, and I'd go in the box, and the scorekeeper would be yelling at me in Dutch, telling me that I don't know how to play the game, and like, oh yeah, I look at my teammate going, what's he saying? He's saying, that's not how you play hockey. I'm just like, oh, interesting,
It is where I'm from.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. I'm just like, you're an idiot, shut up. I probably don't understand what I'm saying, but so my roommate goes behind. He's going in he dumped the puck in, and he's going behind the net to forecheck, and this guy's coming around the net, and he's just got his head down, and he buried him so hard, like the old swallowed the tongue thing happened.
Yeah.
Their team just left the ice. Like, I've never seen it. There's stuff I've seen happen in Holland that I've never seen in sports in my life. Like, their team left the ice. Like, you can't do that. You leave the ice in in any game, never mind a professional hockey game. Like, it's over. You lose. And there's going to be ramifications from the league and all that kind of stuff. They left the ice for like 10 minutes and just left us out there with the crowd. So we didn't know what was happening. The refs left the ice. One ref stayed on the ice. And the crowd starts chanting stuff at our goalie, who was Yutaka Fukufuji at the time, who was like the first Japanese goalie to ever play like a game in the NHL for the LA Kings. So he's in his net, and they're yelling stuff at him. And he's just got his head down in the net, and they're just like, they're chanting at him. They're saying all this crazy stuff to him. And then all of a sudden the team comes back out, and we just play the rest of the game. But by that time, they're chanting at us. So now we're starting to like lip off back and skate by the glass.
So the animosity's building.
Big time. And then we beat their team by like 7 or 8 goals. Because we laid the hammer to them after that. We're like, you don't get to do this, Yeah. So we it's like time to go to the bus and get out of the locker room. When we come outside, and there is just a row of armed guards with machine guns and everything, just all the way to the bus, escorting us to our bus. Yeah, and just like the fans are all standing around yelling at us, and like half of us have no clue what they're even saying. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, so like escort to the bus, and like it was one of those real blue collar towns in Holland where like I think there was a lot of bikers there.
And you guys were the rich team that showed up.
Exactly.
Laid it down on them.
Yeah,
okay.
laid it down.
I could see that.
Yeah, there's definitely, and it's always been like that. It's always like there's like the 4 or 5 always the same teams that have that budget,
Yeah.
So and the league has changed a lot since then. They've joined the German league and stuff like that. But
so you guys are hated even before you get there.
Yeah, before we get there, and like they're very and this is what I've learned, about the soccer side. Like there was a time where they had to have like armed escorts and helicopters, like when one soccer team was going to play another soccer team. That like so they react the same way for hockey. Like that's their team, and like they're hardcore. Yeah, they're hardcore about it. Yeah,
that's what we look at like Raiders fans here. They're like fighting in the stands and like stab each other. Like our fans ain't shit.
Not compared to soccer fans. It's
soccer fans.
Wild. Yeah,
the European fan. I mean,
crazy.
I don't even know if crazy is.
Yeah, it's they live for it.
Do you see when they're like lighting stands on fire? Like the stadium is like burning with torches, and
they're all just chanting.
The whole crowd is just jumping and like
crazy.
I want to experience that though so bad.
It was cool, and the big thing too about them is their chants. They love their chants.
Yes.
So like it would be pretty cool when you're playing and the rink sold out and everybody's chanting and like the game's close and the chants start going. It's like that's a whole nother level of getting.
That's why you're there, though.
Yeah,
that goes from your childhood playing pond hockey.
Yeah.
Floor hockey, street hockey, to that moment. I could only imagine like how cool that moment is to like sit there and like
take that in.
The atmosphere is incredible.
Yeah, and it's smoky in there because they got fog stuff going off. Like the whole vibe was unbelievable.
Shit. I mean, it's an incredible moment.
Yeah, there's been 3 or 4 of those that were like, holy crap, like this is, the one in college, there was a couple in college. One was the very first time I ever played in Yost Arena, which is where the Michigan Wolverines play. Okay, so they were in our division at the time. Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Some big teams.
Some big teams, right? And we're the small school in the big, small fish in the big pond here. And so we're playing Michigan, and Michigan's always a top 10 team in the country, and we're sitting there in Yost Arena, and and it's like an old arena. It smells like those cinnamon almonds. Yep. Like it's just got a whole vibe to it, and it's like, it's one of the best atmospheres in like not only college hockey but all hockey. Like the team comes out and the band starts, like their huge band starts playing and like to the speed of the team skating around the ice, and like everything's in sync. The fans got their chants. And I'll still remember this, just standing like on the blue line, like for the starting lineup, standing on the blue line for the national anthem, and it's dead quiet. And I'm just, first of all, I'm looking around going, oh my God, like I wish I played here. Just like,
right.
Wild. I never like I made it kind of thing. Like this was awesome. And then like we had a guy on our team who had a mullet on, and it's dead quiet. And there's like, I think Yost holds like 9,000 fans or something like that. And all you hear is, hey, Davis, where'd you park your Trans Am?
Oh, shit.
One of the guys, there's one guy out of the crowd, and the whole crowd just starts howling about a guy on our team because he's got a mullet on. Like, where'd you park the Trans Am?
Yeah.
Like, we started bursting out laughing. It was just unbelievable. Like, the culture of that team and that crowd and, like, Michigan fans was wild. So that was, like, one of the first, holy crap, like, this is crazy. This is potential of,
Well, I mean, you go back to, like, high school.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents at our school, I mean, they had this fire truck siren mounted to like this piece of plywood with a truck battery in it.
Yep.
And as the players came out and they would touch that thing off, and we would point it directly at the away team's which was right, and this thing would wind up
and just be unbelievable.
What? Screaming as these guys are coming on the ice doing the laps, and the opponents are all the parents are holding their ears and screaming back, and they'd let off, and it would take minutes to wind down. And the second they'd touch it, it would just start all over.
And that causes some shit too, because
there was parents fighting before the fucking game even started. Over the
knowing
siren.
It's happened. We had that in my first year, like Bantam AAA. We had that happen where we're in the championship, and like one of the dads like worked for like the railway, and he had like a train horn in there.
Yes.
And he would light that thing off, and then like the parents were yelling at him, and he would just light that sucker off. The whole building would be shaking with this train horn. horn. It was unbelievable.
Hockey players and hockey parents, fans are the greatest
they are.
fans in the sport.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I'll die on that hill, man.
Yeah.
It is the atmosphere. I wish I would have gotten, like, by the time we moved to upstate New York, you're born on skates up there.
Yeah.
So we were always, that's why I just went the football route because it was always catch up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But going and supporting and going, I mean, I played with my buddies and all that stuff growing up, but I didn't play, like, it wasn't my sport, you know? But the atmosphere was 10 times more.
It's crazy. And it's like in an enclosed area, right?
And then if you win like the playoffs or, you go on the championship at the end and you're going to
wild.
It's the greatest atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. And like there's so many different things that like those were those aha moments for me, like you're talking about. Like, and then another one was still in college. I was talking about how the Illich family donated a bunch of money to the college. So part of that agreement is we would play a home game in the Joe Louis Arena every year. So we played against Michigan State.
Oh, okay.
And that's right. East Lansing is like right there. So there was like 14,000 fans at the Joe Louis. The game's on Fox Sports. So like so I have some buddies that have satellite dish that could watch it back home.
Yep.
I couldn't even sleep the night before. I was just nervous as shit, And it was just one of those where you walk out and you're in and at that time, like I'm from Winnipeg. The Jets were my team growing up, and then they left.
Yeah.
And then it became the Red Wings. And so at that time, I'm walking out to the rink that has been my favorite team forever. Their logo is in the middle of the ice, and like walking through the tunnel, I'm like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a little emotional almost, You're just walking out going,
sure,
this is
dude.
unbelievable, and then to think of all the different things I did to make it hard on myself, I could have took that opportunity away.
It's so much easier.
Yeah. Dude, you better believe when I seen that game coming down the schedule, I went to every class that week, and I got the best grades I could. Yeah. So that was another one that was like, this is unbelievable. And then even coming here to Boise when, the team that we had that first year and what's the pro, like the association here or the leadership of the Idaho Steelheads are like such like a phenomenal group. Mm-hmm. Like the players fly everywhere. They get treated so well. The organization takes such good care of them. There's a reason they always have championship caliber teams here is because of how they take care. The players will take pay cuts to play here because of the city they're in, the leadership of the program. They get treated so well. There's no shady
separates
stuff.
hockey players from the rest, man. There's no other athlete, and like I don't care who it offends. There's no other athletes that touch hockey players, in my opinion. Like as far as genuine blue collar guys they play hockey players, I feel play for the sport.
Oh, I believe that 100%.
They don't play for the paycheck because you guys get paid shit. I mean, you don't.
Well, compared to every other sport, nothing. And you look at the minor hockey, I mean, dude, nothing.
You're playing for beer money.
Yeah.
And
you're not raising a family off of playing minor hockey. It's a good way to try and get to that next level to make some money. And that's one of the reasons I went to Europe because it was, in the euro, the exchange rate was awesome. There was no tax on it, all that kind of stuff. So there's opportunities to make a little bit of money, but unless you're on a big contract or on a two-way contract, I mean, shit, my first year here, I think it was $425 a week. So you're literally paying 82 games a year, putting your body, your face, everything on the line for $425 a week. Like,
and everyone will have no problem doing it.
Not everybody. Yeah, I think the highest paid guy, if you're on an NHL contract, some guys would be getting $250,000, $300,000 a year.
Yeah, but that's not shit compared to
no other sports. The minimum would be like $2 million a year.
Yeah,
so
and not even touching the field or the ice.
Yeah, exactly. So it was definitely you're playing for the love of the game and following a dream, and what keeps you there is the guys on the team, the locker room, the camaraderie, the.
Well, if you just watch it too, like if you growing up in a hockey community, I've always just followed, and I always tell the wife like, hockey players are the greatest athletes because like the things that they do for their fans, like bringing in some kid.
Yeah.
With his dad that's blind, but they followed the team their whole entire life, and they just pulled these kids, or these pros seeing kids playing street hockey, and they pull over and will play with them, and like it's just the genuine blue collar guy that made it.
Yeah,
never forgot where he came from.
Yeah.
Never let the fame get to him. Never let the money get to him. And they can still give back to their community. They're doing things for kids. They're doing things for, handicapped children and kids that are bad. I mean, you see hockey players
all
doing
the time.
the most incredible work in their community.
And they don't look for the fame for it.
You never even see it.
There's so many guys that do so much stuff that you don't even know they do it.
Exactly. And it's like, then you look at these guys like LeBron, and they have the world given to them, and it's like, dude, fuck you, man. Like,
that's tough.
I'm sure he might do some good here and there. I don't, but like, as far as hockey players, like, you always hear, and you know,
stories, yeah.
There was guys that would come back to some of the games, some of the colleges that, you know, or their high schools made it to the championships, and you got pro players coming back to watch their high school team.
Yeah. Oh,
and they're sitting in the stands with
everybody else.
With everybody.
Yeah. No security, nothing. Entourage, just
nothing. Just
want to hang out, watch some
and a
hockey.
Carhartt jacket and a toucan.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it. And it's like, you're like, oh, yeah, so and so's here, and you're like, no shit. Like, those are hockey players.
Yeah, it's one of those things with the sport that, you know, like, and we can, you know, I don't know how much time we have, but we can get into some of the, like, what, you know, that kind of thing. The side of hockey is like, you know, what it takes, you know, and this is what I tell kids a lot is like, everybody talks about hard work. It's hard work. Well, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. It's not just hard work to physically, you know, go to the gym, lift weights. It's hard work to be a good person. It's hard work to be a good teammate. It's hard work to be a good family member. It's hard work to, when your buddies are going to the bar, to say no. Like, there's so many aspects of the game that come into play. You look at guys that could have made it, that didn't make it, and like what happened in between, you know. So it's just like, I hate when people just say, "Oh, it's hard work." Well, it is. The
hard work for you might be easy for me, and what's hard for me might be
exactly. Like when kids start getting older and they start getting 16, 17, 18, making these decisions, it's like, man, it is hard work when all your buddies are going out and you know you have something big to do the next day, just to say no and go to bed. It is hard work to be a good student. It's hard work to not bully that kid. It's hard work to, like, all the way down the line, that all accumulates into getting to a certain place in hockey. And that's where the pride that I think a lot of hockey players take, like, they made a lot of sacrifices. They did made a lot of the hard decisions, and they held themselves accountable, and everybody who helped them along the way, they are so grateful, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's parents, whether it's billets. Like, nobody gets there, and I think they understand that, where I think hockey is like a very selfless sport. I think it's like one of the true team sports. Like, I mean, you look at football, there's 80 guys in the locker room or 60 guys in the locker room. Like, it's tough for everybody to gel. But when you got 20 guys in the locker room and
you're traveling together, on a bus together.
Yeah, and you're not separated in different locker rooms.
No.
Like, offense is over there. No, you're all in it, all together, all the time.
Smell it all, see it all, 100%, hear it all.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
I will give that on a hockey. A hockey locker room is probably one of the most god-awful smelling places on the planet.
Yeah, dude. Some guys, I mean, everything stinks all the time. You like take your gloves off, your hands still stink. Like,
you pull out someone's roll of tape and it fucking stinks.
You catch a whiff of that bag opening up, it's brutal. Yeah, and then that's what I love about the hockey side of things. Is just like the camaraderie, and like, you know, we had that year that we won the championship. We had a saying in the locker room. It's like, champions for now, teammates forever, because that's what we were. Cool. Yeah, so it was one of those things where, like, almost every guy I've played with over the years in some capacity, like, there's a message that goes back and forth, whether it's a happy birthday, whether it's whatever, and like, there's just a respect level you have of being able to go through that. I'm sure, obviously on a whole nother level that you've done, but just going through that with people, and
for sure,
I'm not going to say battle because it's not the same.
Like,
you know
but
what
civilians
I mean?
compare, like, you know, and it, at least for me, and speaking of my experience, like, granted, the military and the trauma bonding that veterans go through is a different level, but like, there's ways of camaraderie. Like, I have some of the best dudes that I know, like, aren't veterans, and it's great because you're going through all the trauma, the ups, the downs, you know,
exactly. Yeah. So like, and that's the thing. Like, we battle on the ice together. Like, there's, I mean, the fights that happen. You know, a teammate gets, you know, cheap shot, and the other teammate's right there, like, without even question, about to drop his gloves.
It's a brotherhood.
It really is, and that's like when I was watching the podcast and we're talking there. Like, I don't want to use terms that are like, because you got so many people on this podcast that have given so much to this country that I don't want to offend them by using terms like, you know, like, we battled, we went to war together. It's just, but I mean, it's just a term we use.
It is, but it's your version, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, okay, we can use it literally, or, you know, it's, but at the same time, like, when you're spending, but what it comes down to, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, it's take away the battle, right? Take away war, the bullshit
Yeah.
Getting fucked with every day.
Yeah.
You know, having to do the dumbest shit together. You know, just being in the trenches, but not war related. Like some of the worst experiences of my military career were in the barracks, like getting hazed. And I meet with my buddies now, and that's the shit we talk about.
100%.
Remember that time we had to empty dumpsters, and then we had to bust the rust, and we literally. You want to talk about like camaraderie? We had to take all the trash out of dumpsters, wipe the dumpsters clean, bust rust with wire brushes and like little CLP bottles.
No way.
Spray paint the inside of these dumpsters and then reorganize the trash inside the fucking dumpster by like paper, plastic, biodegradable.
Yeah.
And like that, but that's that bond where, you know, you're back in your rooms
together,
at night, you're drinking, like, fucking McManus, piece of shit. You know, you're like, but like, it's the same thing when you guys are showing up late and you're getting hazed.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's a camaraderie and it's a brotherhood because you're able to share really shitty experiences and
bond over them.
Incredible experiences and bond.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to is the bonding. And you can bond in whatever way. But you know, and I feel like a lot of civilians always feel like, oh, I can't relate it to that. But it's bonding. It doesn't matter.
It is,
Now, most civilians can't relate to you because they haven't been on a team where it was a tight group of guys. You're traveling. Freaking women, drugs, alcohol, everything that comes along with being a fucking athlete, whatever, the partying. I mean, but that's like that experience, you know, that you can't sit down with a buddy of yours that's, you know, some guy that just lived an ordinary life, nothing wrong with it, but like you can't be like, do that once, and he can't relate to it. It's everybody's, you know, everybody has their own form of brotherhood and what it comes to it. But I get it, dude. I've been on sports team, you know, at your level, but I've played sports. I've been with other groups of guys that aren't military related, and we could call each other and dying laughing over the shit we had to go through together.
It's unbelievable. And I look back at like the rookie parties. I mean, especially back in the day, like when I was coming through juniors, it was like the late 90s, you know, and then like stuff that you could get, like programs get shut down for the stuff that
I remember they were zipping kids, rookies in hockey bags and throwing them on ice and shit. And they were
we had the sweat box on the bus where like all the rookies had to get stuffed in the sweat box, and there's like 12 big dudes in the bathroom on the bus, and they're all have to come out, and like there's the parties and the drinking that happens at the parties, like that's the kind of stuff that, you know, you paid your dues. You know, you can't do that kind of stuff anymore, and I get it. Especially like back then, that's before people could record stuff either.
Oh,
you know?
So I mean,
like, that's how you get in trouble. You know, somebody records it, puts it online, and all of a sudden you get pressured, right?
Parents are freaking out. Organizations don't like it.
And I never, you know, I never had a problem with having to do the rookie stuff or pay my dues or, you know, like whether it's the rookie party was always fun, but it was like the unloading the bus, the packing the bus, you know, all that little stuff is what we would have to do all the time as a rookie.
That's what builds that camaraderie. That's what builds the pride. And you know, you live, eat, breathe your team because you had to walk. That path. And nowadays nobody does it.
No. And what's cool too is like the best teams I've been on, the rookies are unloading the bus, and then you see the captain walk over and grab a bag. Like it's just like, okay, rookies, this is your duty, but hey, you're not in this alone. Like I'll empty the trash too. You know, like that's not, you know, so that was kind of cool on some of the best teams I've been on. Like that championship team we had such good leadership. Our coach was dialed. He knew the game like no other. And then just the leadership on the team and the accountability we had in the locker room where a guy could just pull a guy aside and be like, hey, man, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but get your head out of your ass. We need you tonight, you know, and then you're like, I don't want to disappoint him. You know, so then you straighten yourself out, you get out of your own head, and, you know, you be the best player you can for your team. And
then knowing that guy had your back at one point, you have no problem fighting, standing up for this dude.
I remember there was a certain, this was like one of my first games as my rookie season is we were playing in Victoria. And we're down a couple goals, and it's the third period, and there's only like 5 minutes left on the clock. And as I'm a defenseman, the coach taps me and says, go out there and take the face off. And young, naive rookie, I didn't realize what he was really setting me up for. It was to get into a fight. Immediately. And then my teammate, who's one of the best teammates I've ever seen in my life, who would do anything for anybody, who would, fight anybody, score 30 goals a year. Like, he's just an all-around dude. And his famous line was "Body by Bud Light." Like, he is just like cut like a bag of milk, but he's so tough. And like, so he grabs me and he yanks me out of the face-off circle. I'm just like, what are you doing? Laxey told me to take the draw. He's just like, no. I'm like, okay. So I just go stand on the wing where he was. And then sure enough, as soon as that puck drops, those two are going to town on each other. He's just like, that was one of the toughest guys on their team. He's just like, you didn't even know who it was. I'm like, again, read the game notes. So they're learning experiences, right? But like he stepped in for that and started fighting, like, and I didn't realize what he did until after the game. I'm like, bro,
thank you,
yeah, because like
save me 2 black eyes,
exactly. Because like again, through my career, I played a lot. I didn't fight a lot, but I mean, you got to fight you have to fight as part of the game. So like, it'd be a couple, 2, 3 fights a year, but there's guys that get 2, 3 fights a game. You know,
what was one of your best fights?
One of my best fights was probably playing here. I switched up. There's a couple good ones that I had, but and one of them was playing here. Guy just grabbed me. I hit a guy because like that usually happens after you like. I played very physical, so I had a lot of body contact. So I laid a guy out, and the guy came right over. He's like, "We're going." So I'm like, "All right, we're going."
Is it like? Do you know by the look, or is it like?
You know by the look, and you also know that like you have to step up because what you just did.
And there's a hockey etiquette.
Yeah,
so
100%.
like if you check, I mean, if you just know, so when you lay a good hit, are you
looking? I'm looking for someone coming at me. Yeah, like as soon as I lay a guy out, the first thing I'm doing is like, all right, who's coming? Yeah. And a lot of times they didn't come because I also played clean. Like I hit a guy who like had the puck, had whatever, and throw an elbow in his head. I just rock him. Like I got really good at doing that. And so, but first thing you do is like, all right, who's coming? And a lot of times they didn't come, but when they did come, like you can't
shut back down. Yeah.
No. So like it was here, and I'm pretty ambidextrous, so I just remember switching up and hitting. You know, I even got a picture of it somewhere. It might even be the one that I sent when you uploaded one of those pictures. But I had him with the right, and I switched up with the left, and that's the one that dropped him. And it's kind of me taking him to the ground on it. And then the bummer part about that whole fight was as I was in the penalty box. Ready to watch the replay on the big screen, somebody dumped a beer on the other guy, the guy I fought in the penalty box because he was like chirping them or whatever. Somebody threw a beer. Then he stand up so the camera panned to them, and I never got to see the replay. Yeah, that was one of my best ones. Another one. I mean, I fought an ex-teammate.
Really? How was that?
I won a championship with him here. He's from my hometown. I was playing for Wichita at the time. He was playing in Missouri, and it was just like. There was pretty much a line brawl going on, and me and him were timed up, and you know he gave me a little poke, I gave him a little poke. I'm like, all right, we're going, you know, and he played with me here, so like by no means was I a fighter. I don't want to get that mixed up because like the guys would be like, yeah, he didn't fight a lot. Well, I didn't, but when I did, I thought I did pretty well and handled myself pretty well, and I ended up giving him a little nick over the eye, and we kind of both, you know, I got his jersey over his head, and then when the refs broke it up, he kind of pops his head up and he looks at me because he was like, "Oh shit, I wasn't expecting that from me," you know.
Right?
Just and we laugh about it, you know. Like that's what the cool thing about hockey too is you can like literally fight one of your best friends on the other team, and then like guys are in the bar having beers after together. Like
that's what's so crazy. I mean, you see some of these face-offs where they just drop the puck and everybody just drops their gloves. Like how does all right.
How does that happen?
Is this premeditated? Do both teams like ahead of time? I mean, obviously, like it's I look at it like baseball. Like you know, there's unspoken rules. Like you swung and you weren't supposed to, and then their pitcher's going to throw in close. Yeah. Is there a buildup like this, like previous games, or is it beforehand? Like the captains are like, hey. We're all just going to settle this the first drop of the puck?
You know it's coming. So, like, a perfect example I have is we were up in Alaska playing, and they were a big rival of us, and we didn't have Yabo with us.
Okay.
And he's by far the toughest guy I've ever seen on skates, like, that I've ever played with. Well, I say Colton would be too. But Yabo wasn't on the road trip. So we go up to Alaska, and they take liberties on a couple of our guys. Like one of our better defensemen gets an elbow to the head. He's out cold.
Really?
Has to wear the big concussion helmet for 3 weeks. Like, so they're back down in Boise now. And not only do we have Yabo, but we have this other guy.
So now they're on your turf.
Oh, 100%. And the two guys, and I still remember this, Yabo and the other guy, I think his name was Matt. Those two guys sat at home watching this when 300 first came out. They sat at home watching 300 all afternoon.
Oh, so they're
came to the rink, fired up, and they beat up
to Spartan kick anybody.
And as soon as they got on the ice together, like their whole team knew what was about to happen, and they beat up a whole line. These two guys beat up like 5 guys. Like guys are like literally like there was a video of it. Like one guy's just holding Yabo's arm, like squeezing it so he couldn't go hit another guy, and the other guy's got this guy on the ground and leaves him and goes and grabs another guy. They both got suspended for like 16 games for it, and just like went around beating everybody up on the ice. It was unbelievable. And they knew it was coming, you know, like, and when you see those games where like, you know, like especially at Madison Square Garden, like it always happens there, it seems like, but it's like if the coach is starting those guys,
It's for a reason.
It's for a reason. So, and the coaches see each other's starting lineup. So, like the away team.
Yeah. So they know ahead of time that they're
starting these guys. Well, I'm starting these guys, and then they all know when they get on the ice, going, well, I don't usually start, so like I'm starting for a reason, and then like they all just go. It's like a gentleman thing, which is hilarious to say, but it is.
Is that why they're like fucking with each other, like when they're warming up, and you see them when they come to the blue line?
Oh yeah, like because there's an unwritten rule: you don't cross the red line.
Or the red line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And warm-ups, you can't cross the red line. That's
Dude,
like
hockey is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, all sports are, but like the fact that like an opponent crosses the red line onto your side, and then now all of a sudden like
that's a straight fuck you. Yeah, like that's like screw you. I'm gonna cross the red line, eat it. Yeah, that's
really.
Oh, and I've seen like I've been part of and it depends on who have your team, because if there's teams that don't have tough guys, you can just tough guys can take advantage of a team. Like I remember in juniors, our team went and grabbed the other team's net and brought it into our end, so they didn't have a net for warm up, and nobody came and got it because they were too scared. Wild, yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah,
huh?
it's incredible. Yeah, so like there's that unwritten rule where, and it's usually the cool thing about the game of hockey too. It's like usually like those guys that's their role. They don't just go pick on the smallest guy, and they're picking on the other guy.
Oh, for
because
sure.
they know he's going to go. You know the goal scorer is not going to fight you. Plus, the coach doesn't want him to because if he breaks his hand, now you lose a goal scorer that you're paying. But yeah, so they're always chirping to each other, skating. You'll see them skate back and forth, and
they come together.
We're going, or like if the fight didn't go as good the first time, and the guy wants a rematch. Like I remember. Colton, him telling a story about when he's in the NHL and he's lined up against Donald Brashear.
Okay.
Like famous NHL top 5 heavy of all time, and Colton's a young rookie wanting to cut his teeth here, and he's like, will you give it to me? Will you give it to me? He's like, not yet, kid. And then he's like, so next game, will you give it to me? Give it to me. And he's had a few more fights during the league, and he's just like, yeah, you got it. And he's like, all right, thanks, man. Like, thanks, man. And then they drop the gloves and fight each other. Yeah, because like they have a mutual respect for each other, and
I mean, you'll see it. You'll see two guys just look at each other and nod. They're like, "Are you in?" Like,
oh yeah,
are we fighting?
Yeah,
and they're like, "All right, let's." And they'll just skate out there, and like that's what's fascinating about
center ice, and like, hey, let's put on a show. Yeah,
just drop it, and there they go. I love when they drop, and the guys are coming up, moving the sticks.
Oh yeah, we don't want nobody to step on anything and hurt themselves.
Move the gloves.
Yeah, like let's get some room
and
here.
And the refs are just like, okay.
Yeah, and then there's guys that'll same thing. Like, you'll watch a guy step out of the box and just stand there and wait for the guy to come out of the box. Like
to refight again.
Yeah. Hey, one of us fell too fast. Yeah, one of us fell too fast. So like, let's go again. Because there's also a mutual respect. Like when you're fighting a guy, like if you don't want him to go down and smack his head off the ice, no matter. Like obviously there's and it's different fights. There's fights that happen out of the heat of the passion of the game.
Yeah.
Where it's like something happens and it's like fuck you, and you get after, and next thing you know you're both throwing it down. And you're trying to knock the guy out. But then there's fights that happen because like it's a mutual. Like hey, we need to either there's roles, right? So those fighters a lot of times. It's like, hey, we're down a goal or two. The team needs a boost. So
no shit.
Oh yeah, that's
you just send out the guy.
Yeah, let's get the team fired up. We need to get going.
You need to rally. So we're going to send out homeboy to just whip some ass.
And then go find the other guy that's his job too. And then like, all right, okay, we're doing this. So like it can change the swing and the momentum of a game. It can pick a team up. Like
so, fighting is a strategic play.
100%. And it's coming out of the game a lot more than it used to. Like you don't see just because the game is so skilled that it's tough to have a place for a guy like that to take up a roster spot and like not have ice time, and so but if you look at there's a lot of guys that play the game now that can play and are tough as nails. So it's phased out of the game a little bit, but the respect that the guys have that when they would fight, like if we're going and we're fighting and I hit you with a punch and I know you're out before you hit the ground, I'm just not going to drop you and have you smack your head off the ice. Like I'm going to try and like let you down. Which
you see happen.
Yeah, and you see guys that are like actually corral a guy's head as they're going down because they know the way he fell, and which is pretty cool. Like the respect to that level.
For sure. I mean, because at the end of the day, like you guys, like I've said, you guys are blue collar guys, so it's not.
Yeah, you're not trying out there.
But I'm sure there's some guys that absolutely hate each other.
Oh, 100%. And then those fights are the gnarliest, And
have you ever watched a fight and just been like, holy fuck?
Every time I watch Jabbo fight, I was just like, I felt pity for the people that had to fight him because he was that tough, that strong, and like he loved it. Like some guys do it because that's their job and that's what they've kind of been pigeonholed into. He loved it, like couldn't wait to do it, thrived at it, loved it, and like
just a chained pit bull ready to go.
Dude, yeah, and this is the thing about the guys that are the fighters on a team or whatever. They are the nicest guys.
Oh, always.
You would ever meet. Like
Always.
Yabo, I can't say enough good things about Yabo. I mean, just to give a story on Yabo is, I was done playing. I'm working now, and but I have a stepdaughter.
Okay.
And she's now in her 20s, 21. She's like 21, 22, and she's at one of the bars one night. Her and her friends go back to one of the apartments, and she didn't have the best experience. Like as far as like nothing crazy, but just rude, like a little rude to her, maybe something like that. And so I call, and I could hear her telling her mom this on the phone in the morning, and I call Yob the next time, like because he's still playing for the team, and I go, hey Yobs, Kelsey ended up back at the apartments last night, and a couple of guys were kind of rude. He's like, done deal. It's my daughter, bro, and hung up the phone. And I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear a peep. Well, fast forward to that summer in the off season, one of the guys was staying here, and I'm big into the outdoors. So he's like, hey, like I'm gonna rent a 4-wheeler. Will you take me up? And we're chatting. So I start telling that story, and he goes, that was your stepdaughter? I go, yeah, why? He goes, oh, Yabo came into the locker room the next day, kicked the coaches out, slammed the door, and had a team meeting that said, if any one of you guys ever touches that girl again or is rude to her or whatever, blah, 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 I will personally rip your head off. Like, threaten the whole team, dude. Yeah. To the point where, like, the guys that did, like, went to the captains after, like, should we tell them it was us? They're like, nope. Don't do it again. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're good. You guys got your talking to.
Such a genuine dude. Like, didn't even say it's like, that's like my daughter, bro, and hung up the phone. I got it covered. I was like, oh, dude, I was just kind of trying to, make sure they're not rude.
Well,
to
how'd
her.
your stepdaughter take that? Knowing she couldn't date
exactly. That's I didn't tell her about that, So it's like, but I mean that it was so cool that like I mean just the nicest guy. They're always the nicest guys in the world, And I mean, and you have to be like to be able to go out there and do that for your teammates, like anybody on the team, no matter what. Like they're the first one to like. And take a bullet for you, because like to be able to do that and do that consistently is pretty wild, and like they have some of these shows out on the fighters, like, Ice Guardians and stuff like that. And, like it's wild to think that, that you're going to be fighting another guy who's just as tough or tougher than you, like a day before you even have to do it. And you have to stew on that all night. And then you're doing it in front of 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people.
On national TV.
And then right after that, you have to go in the locker room, and then you have to come out and sign autographs for kids. And like just the emotional roller coaster that they must be on.
That's why.
That's why it's the most respected position I have in hockey is for those guys, because I can't imagine. Because I've been in those situations like, oh shit, like I know I'm gonna have to do this, and you get fired up, but to know that day in and day out for 82 games in a season, that you got to be ready to go. And some of it, a lot of it's not emotionally charged. It's because it's at that time of the game and they need you to do that. You sit on the bench and just get a tap on the shoulder, like, oh, okay, it's time to go. So you jump out there and look for someone to fight. Like. Wild.
That's wild chaos.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Wild chaos.
It is.
Bro.
It is. And just to think that they can go to that emotional high. I mean, I just can't imagine the stress. Like, I mean, some guys love it, so it's probably not as stressful for them. But guys that end up that's their job. Like, most of them didn't want that to be their job. That's just where they found themselves being able to play.
And
and
early on and
exactly, and they kind of got pigeonholed into that role. And if you want a spot on the team, everybody has a role. Everybody's got a role. You're a fighter. You're an offensive defenseman. You're a defensive defenseman. You're a goal scorer. You're a mucker in the corner, and you get the puck. And everybody has their role, and that's like the best teams. Everybody plays their roles the best and supports each other. Not trying to be something they're not.
Yep.
And I think that's where like the respect I have for that position is like.
Does he still live here?
He lives. That's one of the guys when I was filling out the form like that. You need to get on the podcast. He lives in Texas now.
Oh, we need to get him out here.
He could tell you he played in the KHL over in Russia. He's got stories.
He played in Russia?
He played in Russia. He played in Russia and was a legend. They named a rule after him in the league.
In Russia,
in the KHL, which is like probably the second best league, probably the third best league in the world. There's the NHL, and he's played games in the NHL, played a long time in the American League, and then he went over to the KHL and got paid, I'm sure, really well. But like mob-owned team, like talking about getting off the bus or getting out of the airport, getting picked out in black limos and driven out miles into the middle of nowhere into this oasis. They go through these gates, and they're just in the oasis of this amazing place, like. Just like out of movie stuff. Yeah. And he's just like, where are they taking me? What are they doing? And then just getting like absolutely wasted with the owner. And yeah, like he's got the most wild stories.
Russian money is a whole different level.
100%. And like he was like a legend because he just went over there and just murdered people, dude. Like
I was gonna say that's
so
I mean, they're looking for that.
because it brings they want that in the crowd. They want that in the game.
That's a Russian culture.
Yeah, they encourage it. So they had like, I mean, 2 or 3 guys on the team that were like
just
tough as
rotated.
nails. Yeah, and they just like
but you're fighting other dudes
were tough too
that are filling the position for the other team.
Yeah,
so like
100%. Yeah,
you got to be a bad motherfucker to go to Russia just to fight other
dude. Yeah, if you get into the hockey world and the stories that come out of Russia, like I mean, there's stories of that like, guys have been left and like question their contract and got next thing they got 2 broken legs laying in an alley trying to get home. You're like, yeah, man, like you never know what you're gonna get when you go over there. They could just say we're not paying you no more, and you're like, oh. Okay, what are you going to do?
Nothing.
Yeah, like, I'll get my lawyer on it. Nah, it don't work like that over there. So he's just one of those guys that was just like unbelievable to be around, hilarious, and like the experiences he had. And yeah, I would love if one day if you're in Texas or something, you can get him on that podcast and hook you up with him because he's an absolute beauty and but just one of those guys, and back to like they're the most genuine dudes, and you have to be if you're willing to just fight for your teammates like that at the drop of a hat. That it has nothing to emotionally do with you, besides like caring about your teammate. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, like
damn, dude.
Yeah, so I mean, Yabo, I've seen him do some incredible things on it. I mean, he threw a guy one time from like the top of the circles, and the guy landed on top of the net. Like he was so big and strong, and he was so fast. He just picked the guy. But like the Steelers have video of this stuff, and like this guy just goes flying in the air and ends up on top of the net. Like the whole net goes off the moorings. The goalie's knocked down. Like, yeah.
I feel like goalies are the biggest drama queens on the team.
We like to say they're a little bit different. I've never met a normal goalie, and they'll admit to this too. I've never met just a normal goalie. To be able to stand there and get shot at with pucks, there's got to be a little something wrong with you,
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like it's a soft object.
No,
and they is humming.
And their preparation for the game is like so much different.
All have a ritual,
big time, and like there was like. I used to get jealous for one goalie because he could go out into the hallway outside the locker room, lay down, have half his gear on, put a towel over his head. And he's almost like taking a nap. I'm just like, man, as a player, if I just went and laid down the hallway and took a nap before the game, like I would get ripped. I'd probably get taken out of the lineup. Like how does he get to take a nap?
He's a goalie.
He's got to get mentally focused.
Don't touch him.
Well, that's a tough position too. I mean,
the whole game's riding on.
Well, and it's like you get scored on, a big red light goes off behind you, so everybody knows what happened.
Everybody's staring at you.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
At least with when you're on the ice, you could kind of blend in with the flow, but all eyes are on.
Yeah, you can go change and get off the ice. The goalies can't go nowhere to hide.
You're there you're just eating it the whole game.
Yeah,
dude. We played
tough position.
We played not we as in me, but our high school. We used to play the Indian reservations on the Canadian because those motherfuckers they recruit because if the res goes into Canada and the U.S. they pull all the kids to Salmon
and they have
River.
native specific tournaments and everything like that. Yeah.
So you're out there playing with these kids. Well, the parents I'm sure you've dealt with this. They would hold like pennies and change.
Oh yeah.
And they'd throw them over the ice or over the glass. So when they land, they in the goalie, so they would stick to the ice.
Yeah, and then they'd step on it. Yeah.
Dude, the res.
I got a story about playing junior hockey. So it's Flin Flon, Manitoba.
Flin Flon?
Flin Flon. So this is like super northern Manitoba, mining town. And there's been like a lot of like Hall of Fame hockey players back in the day came out of there, like Bobby Clark, and they got this history of this ring. It's called the Whitney Forum.
Okay.
And you walk into this place, and first you see like it's dark and dingy in there. The locker rooms, it's like super low ceilings. Like there's like dew dripping off the ceiling,
holes in them from the sticks.
It seats about 2,000 people, and you look at the wall when you come in. It's just legends on the wall, like
all the banners and flags and stuff.
And then you look at the far end, on the end of the wall, and it says "Welcome to the zoo. Don't feed the animals." And you're like, what? Where are we? Yeah, big sign. Welcome to the zoo. Don't feed the animals. Like, so you're like, okay, what are we in from? That's one of my first games there, and they're in Manitoba, but they play in the Saskatchewan Junior League, and we're in there, and we're starting to win the game. When you get up a few goals, sometimes the game starts getting rough, and it's getting rough, and like there was a fight that happened, and then like all of a sudden a moose leg just comes flying across the ice. Just big blood streak behind it. Moose leg just cruises across the ice. You're like, what in the world? And I'm looking at this moose leg, and I turn around, and then wham, beer can off the top of the head. It's on the ice, fizzing and spinning, just right around the ice. I'm just like, what? 2,000 people in there just yelling and screaming, shaking the glass, like wild.
The craziest
dude. Yeah,
man.
dude, unbelievable. Yeah,
that's another thing. The ice or the glass when that gets rocking and the waves get going,
just gets rolling. And some rinks have like really loose glass, so like they're just shaking the shit out of the glass. And, like, but I still remember that to this day, like just like slow motion, like what in the. And then as soon as I turned back around, wham! And like it didn't hurt because I had my helmet on, but I was just like, "What in the?" And just beer cans spinning on the ice. I'm like, "What is happening right now? Where am I?" But I mean, like,
you're like, "I'm ready to go home."
Yeah, like they used to call it the Flin Flon flu. Like teams wouldn't want to go up to Flin Flon because they always had like tough as nail teams. So like guys would be like, "Oh, we're going to Flin Flon next week." I'm getting sick.
Okay.
The
Flin Flon flu.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a legendary place in like junior hockey as far as
it is.
You know.
It's what's one of the greatest parts that I love about doing this podcast is talking to so many individuals that live in. There's so many different worlds.
Yeah.
That are. All in just
all these little subcultures everywhere that are like
fascinating to me when you like really break it down because I'm sure there's people from like Texas that are listening to be like, the fuck?
Yeah, little northern Manitoba town. If you look at that on the map, you're gonna go, that's in the middle of nowhere.
These dudes are chucking moose legs onto the ice and throwing beer at the players. Yeah. Like, and then the fact that the parents are just shipping their kids off to different schools.
Go play there. Oh yeah.
You know, and so like I love sitting down and talking to people that grew up in such a different world.
Yeah.
Compared to other people, you know, and you talk to some kid that was motocross and like what his parents did to him to get him to that level versus some kid that grew up in Manitoba and playing hockey,
playing on these reservations and playing in these different small little towns,
escorted on and off reses because of the people that's so bad that the stadies have to freaking escort
take you out of there. Yeah,
because buses are getting stopped,
flat tires before they come out. It's a whole nother. I mean, and that's like you ingrain yourself into that, and that's all you know. That's all I knew growing up. So it didn't seem that crazy.
It's not different.
No, it's not.
It's
You're
just
like
life.
Yeah.
That's
so I mean, the first time you see like, and then now you know what to expect when you go to Flin Flon. Like shit's gonna get crazy. You know? Yeah. Like just, hey man, drink the beer. Don't hit me in the head with it. You know. But yeah,
that would have been legendary,
dude.
Shotgunned it.
Yeah, I'll pick it up
off the skate.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. Oh man, if I would have known now,
right?
You know, but yeah, that was it was some of the best times of like those stories looking back at that and like the bus trips, man. I mean, between juniors in college, I've spent years of my life on those buses. You know, like, I mean, you think about a province like Saskatchewan and how spread out it is. We'd be going, we were in the north, so we'd be going, 4, 5, 6 hours up north.
Everything's a 6-hour drive in Canada.
Yeah, same thing. And then we go 8 hours down south to like, Estevan, which is pretty much right on the border with like North Dakota. And then, Notre Dame, which is just outside Regina. And it's like a prep school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was wild. And then you get to college and like we were up in the UP. So like, I mean, Nebraska, Omaha was in our division. Bowling Green was in our division. Miami of Ohio was in our division. So that's like a 16-hour bus ride, like Miami, Ohio. Yeah. Oh yeah. Or you're going down to Ohio State. So like dude, we played, when I was there in the old CCHA, Alaska Fairbanks was in our division. We'd have to leave school on like a,
wait,
oh, yeah. So we'd have to leave school on like a Wednesday, leave class, bus 5-6 hours to Detroit, catch a flight out of Detroit.
That was your closest airport?
Yeah. Well, a big airport. Yeah, because Sault Ste. Marie it was like a small town, like maybe 15,000 people. And it was still cheaper to do that than go to the Canadian side. And it's still, the Canadian side was only like 30 or 40,000. Okay. So it's not like they had big airports. So we would bus down to Detroit. We'd hop on a plane there. We'd fly to Seattle. And the first year we went to Seattle to Anchorage to Fairbanks. And then, from that's like a 4-hour, 3-hour time change, whatever it is. So you want to get in like at least a day early so you can acclimate to the time change. And I mean, travel like that like wears you out. Yeah. So, and then you play your Friday, Saturday games because college it's always Friday, Saturday. Yep. So you play your Friday, Saturday games and you catch the red eye out of there Saturday after the game because the team doesn't want to pay for another night in a hotel. So you're catching the red eye out of Fairbanks to Seattle. And then now you're at Seattle like 2 a.m. So nothing's flying out till like 4:35, 6 o'clock.
So you're sleeping on the floor floor in there.
And then you get onto the flight, and then you fly to Detroit, and then you get to Detroit, and you're like, oh, I still got to jump on a bus for 5 hours. All the way back up to school.
God.
Yeah. And then, like, Sunday's your only day off because you got to go to class on Monday, and you're just like, I mean, wiped, dude, wiped. And then it's right back to work, man. Like, right back to
do it again
class.
the next week.
Yeah. So, like, we had rotated. So, like, I think we'd go there sometimes twice a year, and then they would come here. Like, so it wasn't every year we went there because it was so far. But, yeah, they were in the conference, and I was just like, and then, I mean, regular 16, 8, 10, 12
God.
bus trips. Yeah, it was just.
Imagine doing that now.
Never do. So, when I left Holland and I came back to North America to play, I went and played in Wichita, and that's when I was telling you I played with my buddy, the same buddy that stepped in for me in Victoria when I didn't know what was happening, about to take this face off, and stepped in and fought this guy. That was one of the reasons I wanted to go play there. He was playing there. Another buddy of mine, Travis White, was playing there that I played here with and won a championship with. And then a couple guys that went to my college were playing there. And then the coach was Kevin McClelland, who won like 4 cups with the Oilers in the 80s. And he was one of the biggest characters I ever met in my life. Like, unbelievable dude. Yeah. And so, like, I was just like, this is going to be an awesome place to play, you know. And that's where, you know, my buddy Galby there he was dating Pumpkin from Flavor of Love, which is a whole.
Was this after her or
this is while he was dating her?
She went on Flavor of Love while he was dating
no,
her?
this is after that. Yeah. So, like, that's how we knew who she was. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it was a couple years probably after the show. This was like 2011.
Was she crazy?
I didn't really get a chance to know her, but, like, a lot of drama happened while she was there. I'll say that. Yeah, a lot of drama happened between the wives and the, you know, like, and then next thing you know, somebody wants to do like a minor league hockey reality show, and like, I don't know if she's stirring stuff up just to show them that, hey, there's something here, you know.
Yeah. Drama.
Yeah, and that's never good. That never ends up being good for a hockey team when there's drama off the ice. Everybody's got to, even the wives and everybody's got to gel together, you know. So.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. I mean, that was just funny as hell. He's dating Pumpkin from Flavor of Love, just the whole wild. But yeah, so going to Wichita, holy shit, we would bus all the way from Wichita to Fort Collins, and we would play a game in Fort Collins, and instead of having a back-to-back in Fort Collins, we'd play a game there, turn around, bus home. So we'd start on a Friday playing a home game against them, and then we'd jump on the bus after the game. The bus would meet us at the apartments, and then bus us all the way to Fort Collins, play the next night, which is like a 10-something hour bus ride. And then we would turn around and have a 3-set and play a game on a Sunday and bus all the way back to Wichita and play another game on a Sunday, dude. Like, I've never been worn out. And this is now, I'm pushing 30. I was probably 30 at the time. I'm pushing 30. And I'm used to playing for the Steelers. We flew everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and the only place we didn't fly was to Salt Lake City. We bused there because it's like 5 hours. And we even flew there a few times. And then when I was in Holland, we were in our own beds every night because the country's so small. So you'd be like 2-3 hours away. So you're in your own bed that night. So that was awesome. Like, I got spoiled. And you play less games over. And that's why a lot of guys go play in Europe, is because less games, a little lighter, especially as you get older. You know, the money's better, but you also, like, it's easier on the body. You're playing less games, less physical game. So I come back and I'm playing in Wichita and I'm on these bus trips. And, like, we didn't have some of the buses that they have now. Like, this wasn't a sleeper bus where it had bunk beds and TVs. Like, it had your seat turned into a bed. And all it did was rattle the whole time. Like, just the metal rattling, and then you got like the crevices of the seats, and like that's our sleepers. Like, you can turn your seat into a bus, like, or into a bed. It was wild, dude. And you talk about, you know, 70-something game season, 72 game season, and half of those are on the road.
That is insane.
And when you're in Wichita, there's really, I mean, the closest place we've had was Tulsa. You know, and then, like, we're playing Rapid City. You know, we're going all the way to Shreveport, Louisiana, and playing.
You were driving
everywhere. We never flew once with that team, and that's when I was just like, and that was probably, like, besides playing in Holland, like, the best money year I had playing. So that's kind of why I went there. That and the guys I was playing with, and because I just got married at the time, so, like, now you're leaving home, and so. After that, I was like, I'll take a pay cut to play in Boise, you know, and that's you know, the reality of it, why people want to play here, and they have such good teams, and the fans are awesome, and the town's awesome, and the rink's incredible, and so, like, it's just like the longevity of your career. If you're on a bus that long all the time, man, it takes tolls off you. I mean, you're injured or whatever, like, it's. And you're getting injured in a game. You got to sit on a bus for 16 hours to get home. Like, that's gnarly, dude. Yeah. So yeah, that was after that. I'm just like, no, I'm coming back home, playing here. You know. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Like, if you tore something.
Oh yeah.
Got just completely.
Yeah, sitting there with your shirt off with an ice bag wrapped around you, like separate your shoulder or something. Yeah, you're sitting on, and you're just like, and you can't really lay down. You're aching. You can't get comfortable. Like,
good.
Yeah,
God,
for like 16
bro.
hours on a shitty ass bus. You know, like that was. But that's the grind, and that's the minor hockey thing that like they don't complain. Guys don't complain.
Mm-hmm.
They sign up for it. They do it. You know, like that's chasing the dream kind of thing. You know, on those bus
Now,
trips everywhere.
with the minors, are you just hoping that one day, like, you get a call to come up to the NHL? And I mean, is that the hopes? How often does it happen?
It happens like so. Where I play in the ECHL, it's ECHL, American Hockey League, NHL. So a lot of guys get called up. Like I went to American League tryouts, played some exhibition games. Got told I was going to get called up a couple times during the season. So what happens is like, you know, an American League club, like they either have a guy called up and they got a hole in their lineup and they need a guy. So then like, oh, hey, you might get the call. You know, Bridgeport might call you because they want you to go out and play. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So then you get prorated, and that's when you start making money in that league as far as hockey is concerned. Like you get prorated by the day. So I think it's a minimum of like $500 a day or something. So like you want to get called up.
Yeah.
Some guys will get called up and spend 2-3 weeks up there or play really well, and then they're up and down for the season. They get called up. And guys can get called up and down 10 times in a season, you know?
No shit.
Oh, yeah. So, and then, you know, you play really well. Then the next year they build you into their roster, you know? So then now you're getting offered a contract because you kind of cut your teeth playing and this and that. So that's kind of the dream, you know? And that's why at a certain point I'm just like, you know what? It hasn't happened yet, so I'm going to go try and chase some money and have an experience playing over in Europe. Yep. And I totally took advantage playing over there also. Like there's what we call like an international break where like a lot of the international teams go play.
Okay.
And that's when I flew my, at the time, girlfriend, who's my wife now, flew her down. I had a buddy of mine, and this is where like everything just, you know, I look at the decisions I've made in life and they all kind of just line up. But a buddy of mine was, you know, you have America's Top Chef. Mm-hmm. Well, he was apprenticing to be a chef in Paris at the time, and he ended up being on Canada's Top Chef, and I think he finished in second or something like that. So he's you know, apprenticing in Paris, living right downtown Paris, and so I flew my girlfriend in, who's my wife, and we took the train to Paris, proposed to her at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, cool!
Got the ring at so a kid on my team was from Belgium, so we went to, before she came, we went to like Antwerp, Belgium, went to the Diamond District that his dad used to work in, got hooked up with an awesome ring, and like, and then, you know, flew her in, and she was very hesitant at coming down. I'm like, well, I was going to propose to you. She's like, okay, we're going to book a flight, you know. But like,
that got her there real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, oh man, experience in Paris was a whole nother thing. Like, they're rude, man. They're really rude, dude. Being on the train, like we're on the metro, and like it's just so crowded. So I just grab her and I'm holding on to her, and we got our bags, and like people are just shoving us, come, and they're a little bit smaller people. So I'm in there with my elbows like right here, like come on,
face
walk,
level,
yeah, just like going like, back up, give me some room. And
Paris is definitely not what it's cracked out to be.
No, beautiful city,
run like shit.
Yeah, and the people are just. It was a very rude experience, you know. Like, I mean, we were at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower just checking it out, and this lady comes up to us. She's got her face covered, and she hands us a note in English, and you know, so I take it to go to read it, and then these two armed guards step in, like military uniforms, step in and kind of give her the fake butt end with the gun, and she kind of backs up, and he's just like, no, pickpocket. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're trying to distract you by reading this note, and they go around and steal all your shit.
Yep, that's huge there.
100%. I'm clueless, you know. Yeah. So like the guy saved us there because I had the ring in my pocket. So like that would have sucked.
Could you imagine,
dude? That would have been brutal. Yeah. I would have went on a rampage down there then. Yeah. But so like it's so I try to take advantage of every situation that I've had, and you know, just look at where life takes you and all these different paths and the decisions I made, you know, to not go to that other fly down, to move to Saskatchewan, to come here, to, you know, next thing you know, I'm here. I got a great job. I got an awesome family, and you know, like it's just, so it's hard to question, you know, if I should have did this. The only thing I should have did was take myself more serious, take my workouts at a younger age more serious, and take my schoolwork a little more serious. And that's the biggest thing I preach to the kids.
I was just going to ask you if there's one thing for advice before we wrap things up, like for these athlete kids, because you deal with a lot of them now.
Yeah.
You help train these kids and get them on the ice and
everything.
Get them into the program and everything, which is incredible what you do.
Which I love the fact of, like, now I get to give back, you know.
For sure.
And especially in a community like Boise that gave me so much, like, you know, wholeheartedly, it's a very fulfilling feeling being able to, you know, have a learn to play program, run everything through adult leagues, and like give back my knowledge of the sport too. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a complete circle, right?
Yeah,
you didn't just take it and dip like a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong. Everybody takes their own path, but like the fact you're like, okay, like this is who I am. Boise is great to me. I want to be able to give back to it.
Yeah.
So for these kids that are watching you and that you're watching grow, and not even just hockey, just as an athlete in general for these kids, what's a one piece of advice that you would give them to help set them up for the future?
I think it's, there's so many different aspects to it, but it's just like everybody has their own path. And just because, a player leaves to go do this or go do that doesn't mean you have to. Stay your path, do what's best for you. And it's the be a good teammate, be a good family member, be a good student. And a lot of these kids, we all have these dreams of going places, but what does that look like to get there? You have to have these little goals that you need to reach in order to get to that next level. What does it look like if you're a 12U hockey player and you're like, you want to be, in the NHL? Well, what's after 12U? Is it AAA? Is it how are you going to get to that? Because that funnel gets real small when you get to the top. You look at percentages for scholarships or 0 point whatever and 0 to play pro and 0 to get to the NHL. What are your goals? Because a lot of us have these dreams, and if we don't write down our goals and have these little achievements along the way, it looks daunting.
For sure. You got to realize the milestones that you're hitting.
Exactly. And I think once you hit a milestone, it gives you a confidence also. But that's one of the big ones I would say is hit these little goals. Yes, you have the long-term goal at the end, but map out how you're going to get there. And then if you have a family that supports you, I was so fortunate to have family that supported me and went probably in debt a little bit in order to, get me to play AAA hockey and spend this time on the road.
Do for your kids.
It really is. But that's all because of the drive that I had. And if you can show your parents, that's the other thing is to the parents, if your kid is showing you this, feed it.
That was my next thing. For parents.
For parents, yeah, feed it, because it's one thing that my dad was always big on, wants and needs. You want a $100 pair of Jordans, you need a $35 pair of shoes from Walmart. How are you going to get to that? How are you going to bridge that gap?
Yeah.
You want, one of the biggest ones is you want a gym membership. You need some weights. Prove to me you're going to work out in the garage. So we went to a garage sale, bought a bunch of weights, threw them in the garage. Prove to me that you're going to do that before I'm going to go invest and get locked into a year contract at a gym for $100 a month. Did that for 3-4 months. Okay, here, Kory, here's a membership for you. I can buy my kid a $300 hockey stick, but what's he going to do to earn it? Are you going to go shoot 1,000 pucks? How bad do you want? Because I think that's one of the biggest things for parents is, you want to foster your kids' drive, but you don't want to they have to be able to earn stuff. And if they don't earn it, there's no sense of achievement either. If you're always given the best equipment and whatever, there's nothing wrong with being able to afford to buy your kid the best. That's awesome. As a parent, that's what you strive for, to give your kids more. But
doesn't mean they need it.
Exactly. But if you want to give it to them, have a goal for them to achieve to get it. There's all these different, if my kid, and this is what I want to do with my kid, but he's, kids are all into the gear, the best stuff, whatever. Okay, great. If I can afford to get you something, what are you going to do to earn it though? Because once he gets it, I don't want him to break it over the crossbar because he gets mad and now he just broke a $300 stick because he has no ownership of. Because he knew that it took him 1,000 pucks to shoot in order to get that stick, and he just ain't getting another one from the store because I broke one. No, you're going to go get you a wood stick then, bud, and see how good you do. So that's one of the biggest things for parents is set those goals for your kids to make them earn these little achievements that helps teach them that hard work pays off, because a lot of times in life hard work doesn't pay off.
Fucking A.
Yeah. So if you can teach them young that, hey, you just worked hard and here you go, and I know you wanted this, but this is what you had to do to get it. And it's, it's like the chore list that you get $1 at the end. It's the same thing, just with sports. You want private lessons. Well, show me that you're going to go to a stick time and not just go out there and shoot the puck against the boards. You're going to go take responsibility for your development is what I like to say to kids that are 14, 15, 16. At some point, they have to start taking responsibility for their own development. A parent that their kid wants to be a AAA player, is he waking you up first thing in the morning and saying, hey, there's stick time today, can you take me? I don't want to be late. Or if there is
that what separates the kids?
100%. It's the kids that understand that and that aren't the ones who their parents have to wake them up in the morning because they're tired and say, hey, we're going to be late, we're going to be waiting, and show up 10 minutes late because the kid didn't want to get out of bed because he was up too late playing video games. The kids that want it go to bed on time because they can't wait to get up in the morning, and they're waking their parents up to say, hey, let's go.
What's the percentage of kids that you have on your ice that have passion versus skill?
Yeah, there's
a thing there.
There is.
I watch some kids and, and it's just that kid, I trained a kid, and when my daughters were chasing world titles, and I was training them in our loft, and we had a kid that wanted to do it, and I took him under our wing, and he ended up becoming a world champion, just training in our loft. But I would see these other kids in the gym, and I'd talk to the wife. I'm like, that kid is a fucking machine. If he just had a little bit
more. Yeah.
And there were so many. I was like, God, I wish I could just. I wanted to go through that gym and just
start picking them, right?
Pluck them and just
because it's so fun to work with those athletes.
No matter what.
Yeah. If they want it and they have the drive, those athletes are so fun to coach. You tell them what they do and they say, jump how high. I'll do it, coach. Whatever you say, coach. And are generally in love with the game.
Yeah.
And as far as hockey, I want everybody to love the sport. I think it's like a sport you can play forever.
Yep.
So it's hockey for life. Everybody ends up in a beer league somewhere. So
so true.
It is. I mean, Wayne Gretzky's in a beer league.
How
good you are, yeah,
or bad, or how much weight you've put on.
Yeah, everybody's in a beer league. So we got guys at the rink that are 80 plus years old playing, which is awesome. I think the first thing for my kid is I want him to love the game. Yeah. That's step number one. Is I take him to learn to play right now. He's 4.5 years old. He has no clue what a hockey game is, but he comes off the ice, face beat red, full of sweat, with the biggest smile on his face, and the first thing I say to him is, "Did you have fun, bud? I love watching you play."
Yep.
That's step one, because we put so many pressure on our kids as little, and so for our program, you have to get tested. You get tested every 8 weeks, and you pass to get to the next level. I mean, he's been in it 2 times now, and learned to play 1, and we go all the way through 4 before you're allowed in the league. And I mean, the last 2 times, the coach goes up to him, the tester goes up and says, "Hey, crew, ready to get tested?" He's like, "Never," and just skates away all fast and slides around. He doesn't even care. He doesn't know. So as a parent, I got to be happy with that because he's having fun out there. Yep. I can't put the pressure on him when he comes into the car at 4.5 years old and go, "You failed.
Yeah.
Failed your test, bud. You don't get to use a stick next time." Which happens a lot. And I think we got to take a step back and get our kids to fall in love with it first, because then when it's time to start doing this stuff, it doesn't feel like a job to them at 10 years old, 12 years old. I can't wait, because every experience they've had has always been fun. And that's where it leads into these players that we do have, I would say we have quite a few players that have that drive. We got a good group of coaches in Boise. We got good programs. We have ex-professionals that are involved in the programs, have played for Steelheads, that have played with, that are in charge of programs, the travel programs. And we have really good people that care about the kids. And I think that's what awesome hockey brings. So many volunteers, so many people that want to help these kids out. And being able to foster that is so much fun. So we do have a good percentage of kids that are up in the morning, waking their parents up. Let's go to the camp, or they're we call them rink rats, that are at the rink all day, every day, all summer. There's no break. Yep. And they're the ones that love it, though. There's the ones that get dropped off because they have nothing else to do in the summer. So their parents are like, "Get out of my hair, you're going to the rink," and they just bum around the rink, and they end up causing trouble, or trying to just hang out and not do nothing. And but then there's those kids that are
live for it.
Yeah, live for it. And with hockey here, it's starting to get the traction now where we have a lot of people that have bought into what it takes, and the perfect example is, I think, on our girls' side, the girls' program has blown up. And
really,
and it used to be we got to get girls games. Now it's we got to get girls scholarships, because these girls want scholarships. They are grinding. They are working out in the gym. They're doing. It's not just about getting them games anymore. It's we want them to get scholarships, and they have drive to do it. So it's how do we foster that? What can we get them so they can get these experiences? And it's been awesome to watch, because I started with them in this girls program when they were 8 and under, and now a lot of them have just graduated and they're going to colleges, playing Division III and whatever.
So you get to watch these kids grow up.
It's super cool, and it makes me feel old, but it's super cool to see these kids. I've been there for 12 years now.
Yeah.
So to be able to watch these kids come through the program, we got a couple kids that are that have played college. We got a couple kids that are starting to dabble in pro a little bit, and which is amazing to see from little old Boise that we're putting professional hockey players and college hockey players.
The fact that you have a thumbprint on that.
Well, I don't want to take any credit for it by any means, but I feel
12 years, bro. You've watched these kids grow.
I've watched them. I've helped them. Yeah, and that's what's cool about the community. It's it takes a village kind of thing, and all the coaches, working together to help these kids and the families and the parents, building a relationship with the parents and stuff is super cool, and being able to watch their kids grow. And now these kids are coming back and they're coaching, and it's just it's awesome to see, and they become great human beings, which is the number one thing is 99.9% of these kids aren't going to the NHL; they're going into society. Yep. So if they can be great human beings, and as a coaching staff we can help direct them in that way, then we've all done our job.
And I think sports are so important for kids, individual or team. Like, I grew up team sports. I'm anti-team sport now. Like, just I want my kids to be able to figure that shit out on their own and realize what they're working,
Yeah, for sure.
It was just my shift, like I want, like, if we're going to work as hard as we are, like, I want you to see what you've accomplished.
Yeah,
right?
I get that. Yeah,
and just the drama. We dealt with so much drama even in the fighting world.
Sport,
it's fucking insane. Other parents, but it doesn't matter what it is. It could be chess for all I care. The fact that the kids are in there and they're learning something and learning how to deal with, overcome challenges and the pressure and the stress and the highs and lows. And
it's the
you're going to win and you lose at the last second. And your whole entire season just ended and, and it's like your senior game and that's it. Like,
that's it. You're done. Yeah, see you next year. Kind of.
So I think it's really good for helping develop children.
Oh, 100%.
As far, and then one is just getting them active and getting them moving and things like that. And I think it's a pretty incredible thing that you do for these kids, and especially helping the Treasure Valley grow this hockey program for these young kids. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I appreciate that.
And you speak we've known each other for a while, and every time we talk, you speak so highly of these kids and then the program and everything that goes into it. It's been pretty awesome. Not a lot of years, but we've got some years under our belt.
Yeah.
Every time we spend a lot of times in ATVs together.
Talking.
You've never had anything negative to say about the program and what it's doing for these kids, and it's pretty cool to be able to see that. Yeah.
And like I feel so fortunate to be able to still have a job in hockey after my playing career.
You chased a passion your whole entire life and then turned it into a job.
Yeah, which is it still boggles my mind, and it makes me so appreciative. And if I want, and that's the thing, is it's like I want every single kid that comes through my program, I wish they could have the experience that I did playing hockey.
Yeah.
The places I went, the people I met, the connections I made, where it takes you in life, and back to like athletes in general are such good employees and employable people. They understand discipline.
Mm-hmm.
They understand, being part of a team, a chain, having a role in a position. Like, I absolutely love that fact about, what hockey provides other than just a sport. There's so many things that it brings to people's lives.
It helps too, hockey, especially contact sports, is like you get your bell rung and you have to finish a game.
Yeah.
Or it's like, and then it raises your kids to not be such a little bitch because I tore my meniscus in the middle of a game and we had a 3-hour bus ride. Like you were talking, that's why I was like, fuck, I've never, nothing even close, but like I had to ride you're part of the team, get your ass, you don't get to come home.
Yeah.
And I sat there and rode home with a torn knee the whole entire night, got home, ate, went to bed, got up the next day, obviously went to doctors, did all that shit over the weekend. But you can't complain. Like, at least when we grew up, it taught you like, fuck, got my bell rung. Like, I remember getting hit so hard, snot.
I've had that happen.
Was under my chin.
There was getting a snot knocked out of you is a real thing. I've had it happen. Yeah, it's a real thing when you get 100%. Hit hard.
And then when you got to pick yourself up and you got to ride home, and it's like you can't just be like, I'm over it. Like you got to finish the game. And
people are depending on you. Your teammates are depending on you. Like
it teaches you. Sports teach kids so many things, and I think every parent. And I think where a lot of parents fail with it is the kids have a couple bad practices or it wasn't that fun, and they let their kids quit so soon with things, and they let them finish it. But I feel like with hockey, man, it's just a different breed of child that's going into it. And
I think so, and I think part of it is too to get to a certain point as a hockey player, you have to put in so much work to learn how to skate that it makes it harder to quit because you've just put so much time in already.
For sure.
That once you got to a point that now you're going to quit, like soccer. All the other sports that, you're not removed from the object. You're using your hand or you're using your foot. Skating, you got to learn to skate, and then you have a stick to control the object. So there's so many different aspects to it that once you get to that point, like it's tough to quit because now you've worked so hard to get to a point.
Just to hone the most basic skill to be able to skate.
Yeah.
And to
hand-eye coordination, all that.
It's insane what it does for kids. And then you throw them on skates really early, and it's like they're developing so many skills so fast.
And that's what, to the training side of stuff, like what we do and what my belief is, like through USA Hockey and like I'm the ADM coordinator for the state, which is like the American Development Model, is just like they have learned on such a high level how kids develop. So we train them that way. Like
that's cool.
We train them like it's all about puck touch. It's all about small area. It's all about bumping and moving and being on your edges. Like you can't take my son, for instance, who's 4.5 years old, and go, hey buddy, I need you to be on your inside edge, on your outside foot. By the time I get halfway through that sentence, he's already thinking about the cartoons that are coming on. So they learn. They're like playing to learn, not learning to play, if that makes sense. So we just put them in. They're they're playing games they play in school. They're playing sharks and minnows. They're playing red light, green light. Like, so they're not thinking about what they're doing because their body, their quick twitch fibers are firing so fast at that age that's what's going to have that muscle memory for them as they start getting older. And then when they get older, you can start teaching that technique. And it's just by doing repetition,
Reps.
move, get bumped, fall down, get up, fall down, get up, chase the puck around, like play games and the engaging games that, like, that's what I have to talk to parents about all the time. Learn plays. It's like, well, they're not. I thought they'd be playing hockey. I'm just like, they're 4. They don't know what a game is. Well, I'm not going to put them in a game setting. A game to them is Sharks and Minnows, Space Invaders, Timing It, Mr. Wolf. Like, that's what
dodgeball on the ice.
Yeah, literally, we do that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So like, that's the kind of stuff that's fun for them. Yeah. That keeps them engaged, and then that's what
starts to build that love and the passion
and the foundation of what they're doing, and then it, as they get older, they understand like the difference in the game that they want to do. But then you just start, when they get to 8U, we change practice plan a little bit. So same thing. There's a percentage of skill to everything else. Like, it's like 95% skill that age. We're not going to teach you how to do a breakout when you're 8 years old. You got to be able to be sufficient in all these skills before we're going to do that. And as it ramps up and you get to 14, 16, that's when like the mindset of the game starts really ramping up, and you can take 15, 20 minutes of an hour practice to work on a breakout or a power play, or because all your players should be proficient in all those skills. So now I can tell them where to go stand because they can skate and they can stick handle and they can pass. And so it's really cool what they've done, and it's been a retention tool because hockey is one of those sports where, like, if you never really get better, man, it's tough to stick with. It's so fast.
That's why I never picked it.
Well, that's exactly it, right? So
the time I moved, we were 9, 10 years old. I mean, these kids are fucking full blown at that point.
Yeah.
So there's always catch up. So that's why I was like,
and it's tough when you're always behind and you're not getting to touch the puck. And so we try to do our best to, like, we shrink the ice on the little kids. Like, our 8Us play cross ice. Our 10Us play half ice. Then when you get to 12U, they play full ice. Because when I was at 6U, 8U, we played full ice hockey. That's what NHL players play.
Smoked.
So much ice out there, dude. Like, what are we doing? So you could go the whole game and, like, not even touch the puck.
Yeah.
So now we go cross ice. You're in the game by default.
Oh, you're forced into it.
Yeah, so you're forced into it. So you're in the plays, and those better kids that on that full ice would have just took the puck and, kind of like, I like to, like when you're playing football, it's a sweep right, and then the fastest kid just goes to the sideline and runs all the way down. Nobody touches them. Well, that kid now is forced to be in a small area because that's what the game is played. Even you look at the NHL, they're all in one zone at one time. You got 10 guys in a zone. So, small area, win a battle, make a play. So these kids are forced now, the better kids even, to have to make quicker decisions and think faster and maneuver and pass. And so it's done a great job for the retention because, again, if you're not getting better, it's tough to stay with it. So I think that's why we see so much of the growth that we've had too. Like, USA Hockey's done a great job with that, and I've implemented that and understanding with my knowledge of the game and understanding that part of it is because there's an old guard that was just like, no, full ice. No, what are we using blue pucks for? Like, the younger kids use blue pucks because it's lighter so they can raise it instead of flicking it at the goalie. Like, all these little things that make the progression for their kids actually better. Yeah. I've bought into right away because I understood the concepts of it and why, and it's really developed into the growth we've had at the rink. Like, we're exploding. That's good. Yeah, it's fun to watch. It creates some problems every once in a while when you have growing pains, but it's been phenomenal to see, and just, the athlete development, how it's down to a science now, and they know train these kids like this at this age because their body is going to receive it better. And, they have the golden ages of development up to like 14 where they're firing like this. So this is why we train them this way, and it shows and it works, and it's pretty cool to watch. So I'm excited for my kid to go through it. I've been training other kids for so long. So
he's going to be a machine.
I'm stoked for him. Yeah. And he's loving it so far. So as long as I can keep him happy.
He's going to hate it. Want to go play like soccer.
Yeah. Exactly. And honestly, like, I joke with people about this, like, if he doesn't love hockey, I'm cool with it, man. Yeah. Let's go fly fishing. Yeah, let's go whatever. Like, I want to get him into like jiu-jitsu. I want to get him into all these different things that he can try because just because it was my goal
doesn't mean it's going to be theirs.
Exactly, and I'll be totally fine with it. Will I be bummed? Yeah. But I'm not going to be I'll be totally fine with him taking on it. But it's got to be something. Like, you got to do something.
100%. That's where we're at right now. It doesn't matter what it is, but you got to be something.
Yeah,
and it's just good for great.
Yeah, for it is. Whether he excels at it or not, I'll help funnel, feed his passion. But so I'm looking forward to watching him go through this next stage.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, it's hilarious, dude. Like, and I would say, like, my wife took a picture the first time we were going to the Learn to Play, and we're walking out of my office, and like, I'm walking ahead of him with my coach and stuff on, and he's beside me like this with all his little so cute in his little gear, and she took a picture from the back, and I was like almost teared up. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Like, it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, so it's really cool to see. I've watched so many other kids do it, and parents of friends, and then watching it with their kids. kids. And
now it's your turn.
Yeah, it's all jealous all the time, going, oh man, I can't wait to do that one day. Never thought I was going to have a kid, and then I did. So yeah, it
changes you, man.
It does, dude. It really does. Yeah. It's been phenomenal.
Well, I'm super proud of you, dude, for everything that you're doing for the community.
I appreciate that. I really do.
And living quite the crazy life, and then now being able to teach some of these kids a little bit of the sport.
Yeah,
so.
it's been definitely a good transition. I mean, you have that point when you stop playing, you work something your whole life, and then all of a sudden it stops, and you're like,
yeah, and you got to transition. You got to find something.
Yeah, and being able to, being blessed enough to be able to have the path to go right into hockey after playing hockey, man, that helped, because a lot of athletes get lost when they retire and they don't really know what the next step is. And I was so fortunate to have this come into my life that I don't take it for granted. I want to make sure every kid gets the best opportunities they can and do what's best for all the kids, whether it's my program, another program, somewhere else in the state. I just want everybody to. I wish they could have the experience I did playing, because it's.
Well, you're trying.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, the best I can do, right?
And that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you very much, dude.
I know we got some more stories to go over. I'm going to have you on again. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
It was cool to be able to actually sit down and hear, the history of the hockey. We talk about everything else all the time.
Exactly,
and the crazy
right?
shit.
Yeah.
But, no, I appreciate you coming on and sharing some stories with us. And I want to definitely hear some more about, the kids and then the programs and things like that. We'll break that down in the next episode. So.
I would love to, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Bam.
Dude, thanks,
awesome.
dude. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.